knowledge workers, we are now able to automate many of the mundane tactical work and focus more on the higher level of strategic work, such as decision-making and interpersonal communications, areas that still require human intelligence. Nevertheless, as technology becomes more accepted and mature, we must also have serious discussions of its constraints and limitations. Issues such as bias, privacy, hallucination are all at the forefront of ensuring the healthy development of this revolutionary technology. Therefore, it is imperative we undertake AI transformation to further ensure global success in the era of AI. And many of the advancements that I've mentioned already been seen across various industries in Taiwan. And by taking Taiwan as a role model in AI adoption, I hope countries around the world will also learn to embrace this change and certainly not stand in its way. I hope you enjoy my talk today, and it's purely just a teaser for my upcoming presentation in St. Lucia on November 1st, where I will be expanding on some of the topics we have discussed today. I'm looking forward to the upcoming Q&A sessions, and have a wonderful day, and see you all soon. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. That was very engaging. Lovely start to the presentations. I would like to introduce our next presenter, Mr. Jade Hutchinson. Mr. Hutchinson is a distinguished entrepreneur with a wealth of experience in leadership, project management, design thinking, and brand strategy. With a strong commitment to sustainability, he has made significant strides in agricultural technology and renewable energy. As Managing Director of Noah Energy and CEO of Guru, an agricultural technology company, Jade leads the charge in developing innovative solutions, including the Guru Marketplace, aimed at enhancing food security and sustainability in the Caribbean. Please welcome Mr. Hutchinson.
You can take the mic off? Sure. All right. So my slides. So good morning, everyone. Jade Hutchinson. Whilst I wait for my slides, I'll give you a small story about food, because I guess AI is taking a bit longer to get things going. I remember some time ago, I tried to become vegan. All right? I said, you know what, for the first time in my life, I'll stop eating meat. And I went to the supermarket and trying to pull out off the shelves the different foods that I need. Could you imagine that on my plate, everything on the plate was actually imported? All the vegetables, all the tomatoes, the pineapples, etc., except at that time mushrooms. So imagine me trying to do something, but you realize that locally we have no food available to make that happen. All right. So that dawned on me, and it really had an impact on how and why we do what we're trying to do. So my first slide is just an open slide to say hello. It has a slide's name on it, but whilst we wait for it, there we go. So really and truly, this is about when we're writing the rules of agriculture. I spent a lot of time talking to farmers and talking to hoteliers and all the different buyers around, and you realize that there is an imbalance in the power in agriculture. But data can actually help a lot in changing that. So one of the questions posed to me very early on was, how do we get food from the farm to the kitchen within 24 hours? Right? How do you get fresh food for the hoteliers and for the chefs to be able to do what they do? So one of the things, when you look at the challenges within the sector, you realize that the biggest challenge is probably not necessarily the weather, but the market. If we talk to everybody else, you realize that a lot of the food that we eat is imported, and you try to get to the bottom of why that is. And you realize that there's very low levels of coordination between producers and purchasers. That leads to things like overproduction, undersupply, market challenges, the availability of crops, wastage, and all of that breeds a lot of inefficiencies within the procurement system. And as a result, the buyers find it easier to just bring things from overseas. So as a team, we started analyzing this and tried to figure out how can we make this process a lot simpler, easier, and quicker. And one of the things we looked at was taking the raw data, which is import data, purchase data, and as much raw data that we can find, and turning that into intelligence for the various sectors. Now, what I can say is trying to find data in Lucia is like just trying to create magic, trying to pull out a rabbit out of a hat, because that's one of the biggest challenges that we had. But right now, what we've done, we've been able to get import data for the last 7 years, production data from the ministry, and we're working with an AI specialist to be able to turn that data into the intelligence that we have. But the algorithms that we develop through that space could now be used in the app and continuously used for new data coming in. But what does that actually do to the farmers on the ground? So the idea is, if we really want this thing to work, we need to be able to tell farmers what to plant and when, so they can actually meet the demand that's there. So it will allow farmers to align the supply to the demand. It helps them with pricing, ensuring that they're pricing correctly, but also ensuring that they're looking at the various pricings across the market, whether it's imported or local. They'll be able to set better pricing. Production scheduling to ensure that the products are there at the key times. But one of the key things is ensuring that they have negotiating power with the market. Currently, buyers are the ones who set the prices in the market. But what you want to do is allow the farmers who do all the hard work to create that food to have a bit more power to help them increase their profits. But on the buyer side, the interesting thing is, by aligning supply and demand, you're actually reducing the transactional time. I remember sitting down with one of the buyers and spending probably about half an hour, and the number of calls they had to make and receive just to be able to purchase some tomatoes or some plantain. You understand how much time is taken from the day-to-day and other things, and that cost is really not calculated when buyers look at why they're purchasing locally or what all the procurement costs involved. They'll be able to predict with more predictable pricing. They'll be able to have they'll be able to know how much money they're spending, and also we can optimize the supply chain by doing all of that work. So in real world, we can look at in the US, where the corn farmers were able to increase their pricing by aligning production to demand. In Brazil, it was sugarcane, and there was reduced waste in India by 20%, just by understanding how they, again, using AI to align supply and demand. And as I mentioned before, one of the key challenges is data. Being able to get access to data, clean data, is one of the data, and the quality of that data in the Caribbean, for some reason, I don't know why, but our use of data or our collection of data is very poor. So collecting that data and then being able to access that data by the right people in the right format. So if I give a farmer just ordinary data, he won't be able to understand. But how can we take that data, analyze it, and give that to the persons who need it? Also, knowing that it's digital technologies, how do we also encourage farmers or buyers to accept these new technologies? Another issue is government policy, and with all the brilliant work being done in the Caribbean by agencies and other countries coming in and helping us, I think there's a massive disconnect between what's happening at that level and what's happening on the ground. And again, when we look at the funding that we get to go into agriculture and the amount of money that's put into that sector, the impact on the ground is minimal. And I think that is a challenge. So when we are promised funding and fair trade policies, and then we have on the other end the double standards of countries which have protectionism policies on their end, how do we as a Caribbean and within our marketplace take advantage of what we have and be able to benefit from it? And finally, commitment. We need to be able to ensure that the buyers and the farmers are committed to this process, because one thing is to have the technologies, to be able to bring all these things to them, but we need commitment, and that's again where policy comes into play to ensure that we have a better policies to facilitate what's going on. And if we get it right, that means, I mean, I don't think I'll go vegan, but at least I'll be able to get the foods that I want to be able to, for all of us, when we want to eat, we can find the food that we want to eat. Thank you.
And now we would like to introduce Ms. Nisa Pierre as a software engineer at Optronics Limited and a graduate of the University of the West Indies, Caville, with a BSc in mathematics and computer science. Her expertise lies in web and mobile application development with a strong command of Python and its use in artificial intelligence. Her commitment to advancing technology and education highlights her dedication to fostering innovation and her passion for creating impactful software that meets real-world needs.
Good morning, everyone. So, AI has integrated into our daily lives in ways that sometimes we don't even notice. Completing a Google search prompt before you're even done typing, or quietly filtering out those spam emails. It is becoming an integral part of our lives, especially in fields like mine, software development, where it is changing the game entirely. As software developers, we spend a lot of time doing things like writing code, testing applications, and debugging. Debugging, which is basically identifying errors and fixing them within our code. With AI, we can now automate a lot of these tasks. AI-driven tools can write code for us, identify bugs before they can even cause problems in our code, and just help us build smarter systems faster. For example, we have tools like GitHub Copilot, which acts basically like having a coding assistant right next to you, completing the code while you're typing. It's becoming a standard practice in software development to use tools like these while coding. Right now, AI is being used to enhance security in software, something critical for businesses and governments alike. AI can predict vulnerabilities and even prevent cyber attacks before they can happen. Many companies are using AI-powered systems to monitor their networks 24/7. These systems can spot unusual behavior, like a hacker probably trying to put in a password several times, and can block these attempts automatically. We're also seeing a rise in natural language processing, or NLP, which allows machines to understand human language. So chatbots and virtual assistants are becoming better at having real conversations with us, making customer service smoother and more efficient, something that I'm sure we can all agree a lot of businesses in St. Lucia need some help with. Of course, with all the excitement around AI, we can't ignore the challenges. And one of the biggest issues is job displacement. AI is automating tasks, and that makes people wonder, Will AI take over our jobs? Specifically for software development, you can develop a powerful AI and teach it to write code, and then you're wondering, will that AI replace me as a developer? So it can automate some tasks and improve programmer productivity, but creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving are still key and essential skills that developers need. I think AI will actually help with creating more programmer jobs. We'll need programmers to train models, to fine-tune algorithms, and to create the infrastructure that will support these artificial intelligence technologies. At Optronics, we've been experimenting with AI to solve real-world problems. And one of the projects I'm most excited about is RiftBid, an AI-powered platform we launched that connects suppliers with government contracts. It's changing the procurement process by automating everything from finding contracts to speeding up payments. And that's just one example. AI's potential goes way beyond just procurement. It's about streamlining workflows in every sector. The question now becomes, where do you think St. Lucia could most benefit from artificial intelligence? Maybe in healthcare, assisting doctors with diagnostics, or in tourism, helping visitors get personalized recommendations. Optronics is currently working with a company called Gentech Analytica, a new firm aiming to modernize genetic testing in the Caribbean. They are currently developing innovative solutions like at-home test kits and AI-powered analyzers that can provide faster and more accurate genetic results accessible to everyone. I think the most exciting part about AI is that it is adaptable. It can fit into almost any sector and solve unique challenges. Looking ahead, the future of AI is bright. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible. It will touch every industry, helping us work smarter, not harder. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nisa, for that engaging presentation. One thing that really stuck out to me is that for AI, some persons, they believe that, we're all for this AI, we're trying to power AI. Will AI take my job? And, as you could tell, she did mention that AI is not only for web developers, it's not only for software engineers. It can also be used in the healthcare sector, the tourism sector, infrastructure. And today, especially, we allow you to see what AI can do. So despite the fact that it does have some disadvantages, which, of course, we welcome your questions, your concerns, we also have to go ahead and look at where AI can take us and what AI can do for us in terms of competitiveness and efficiency. So we thank you so much. Thank you, Nisa, for that presentation.
All right. Thank you much, Nisa. That was a really good presentation. Okay. And thank you, Stanza, for talking about AI and jobs. So right now, I want to do just a small question and answer segment. I will invite anybody from the audience who has any questions burning on their minds that they would like addressed by one of the presenters who have presented so far. Any takers? Sure, come up. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and my height. Well, that'll work. So to Mr. Jade Hutchinson, you're looking at how AI can improve our supply chain situation in St. Lucia, both from, from locally to the buyers and then to us, the consumers, right? And you're talking about pricing and them being able to better price their goods, right? Based off of the way that you're communicating, I do have a fear in terms of how potentially the suppliers and the suppliers and the buyers will potentially push to improve profit rather than necessarily also bringing to the mass and improving supply chain on that end to ensure that we're always getting every sort of product that can be produced within St. Lucia, right? So I do think, yeah, what you mentioned about getting things that we constantly run out of on a more consistent schedule and knowing when from the buyer side to import versus buying locally and then for local suppliers to produce what they need in the in-between. But I do worry about how the AI models can push for potential price gouging on their side to us, the consumers who are buying, which, locally, that's an issue. If we're exporting, good on us. So how do you propose you'll work around that to avoid potential damage to consumers?
So currently, if you understand the market, you'd realize that pricing is very ad hoc. Farmers probably don't even know what their cost of production is. So none of the pricing currently is dictated by the farmer. So if you go to the supermarket, you see a price on the shelf. That price is a combination of what the amounts are locally, what the import prices are, and what the buyers decide to charge. If you were to align supply and demand, what happens then is you're able to produce the quantities to the volumes that are actually necessary. Farmers can then start to revert to understanding what their profits are based on their production costs. So therefore you have a cost of production, you have farm gate prices, and therefore you can now start to get more stable pricing across the sector. If we're looking at price gouging, I think every day we go to the supermarket, we believe that Marcy was taking off every single cent that we have. But we also need to ensure that the farmers are produced. The main reason why we have all these fluctuations is because of the supply-demand disalignment. And if you can start to do that, you'll start to bring in better pricing. So I listen to farmers talk every day about them being, they're selling to the supermarkets at a price that they believe is unsustainable. And when they go to supermarkets, the price in the supermarkets are 4 times what they've sold the product to. So we really need to align the supply and demand to actually see the benefits of the AI models.
Okay, I can follow up to that, or? Sure. So, Yam, once you've gotten to the point of aligning that supply and demand, which I do agree, yes, that needs to be done, what would then be the steps or precautionary measures that you would potentially propose so consumers don't end up becoming what the farmers are now? Because in this case, yes, the farmers are getting the stiffed in their deal, right? And it should be that the farmers are able to benefit to continue to produce for Island, and then the buyers are making their profit. But what would you propose then, once those have aligned, to put in steps to ensure it doesn't become a problem where consumers are then on that back end? Because we do see it in a lot of the bigger countries as well, where once suppliers and their buyers have perfectly aligned, they then start to push towards more for profit rather than the sustainability. And we want to, since we can see them as an example, we want to see what we can do to help, balance that out later on.
I think even before we get to that point, we should just try to get to a point of sustainability, because right now all that sort of information is so way in the future that we're not going to get there if we don't actually start. But at that point, that's where policy and proper management comes in.
So wouldn't you think that would be better to have set as a foundation rather than something to think about later in the future, so we can build for better?
It could, but we have to start somewhere. So I think I'd rather just start and then wait for everything else. We know how long policy takes. We know that the support of governments and the challenges they have because of the bureaucracy that it has to go through. So we have to start. If we don't start, we'll never get there.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that question. Thank you. And thank you, Jade, for answering. Okay. Thank you. We shall now move on to our next presenter. Okay, I would like to introduce Ms. Krissa Johnny. She's the manager of the Institutional Effectiveness and Transformation Unit at Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, where among her key responsibilities, she provides research, strategic planning, and consultative leadership to support faculty and staff. She has over 20 years of experience in education and is now pursuing doctoral studies in educational leadership, specializing in higher education. Everyone, welcome Ms. Krissa Johnny.
Thank you. Good morning. Did you know that AI Tech Daily predicted that by 2030, AI will be as common as electricity, embedded in everything from our homes to our cities? Exciting, scary. I think this is a world of possibilities. These are indeed exciting times for higher education, and AI has revolutionized the educational landscape by transforming education through the automation of administrative tasks, personalized learning, and intelligent tutoring systems. That's not mine. Sorry about that, wrong presentation. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry about the interruption. I'm just trying to get the presentations right. So if you could just give us a few seconds. Thank you. Oh, I guess in the meantime, if we have any more questions, anybody has any questions they want to ask? All right, I guess we're on cue.
So AI is critical to higher education, as it has proven that it has the capabilities to enhance teaching and learning by making education more efficient, more accessible to students, and enables educators to make more data-driven decisions. Currently, in AI, the trends as it relates to higher education, which are so many, they include adaptive learning, where AI-powered learning management systems such as Moodle and Canvas can personalize learning experiences based on students' needs. We also have AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants that are providing 24/7 support for student inquiries and administrative tasks. Also, predictive analytics are assisting institutions in predicting student outcomes, such as dropout rates, and aiding in targeted intervention to improve retention. Also, we have automated grading, which provides faster, unbiased assessments of student performance. As with any invention, there are challenges, and AI is no exception. So some of the challenges associated with AI include ensuring equitable access to AI technologies, and also there is a lack of infrastructure and skilled personnel in the use of AI. Some of the risks associated with AI would include concerns about how AI systems manage sensitive student data, as well as the risk of perpetuating inequitable outcomes through biased algorithms. Faculty expressing concern about cheating is nothing new. Cheating existed long before the advent of ChatGPT and other large language models. What AI has forced us to do as educators is to reconsider our assessment strategies so that we are designing more authentic assessments that would decrease the chances of cheating. However, students need to be educated on academic integrity and about being transparent in the use of AI. It is also critical that we ensure that AI does not replace the human educator, but rather to complement and supplement what is done in the classroom. As educators become more comfortable with the use of AI, I believe there will be deeper integration into more aspects of the teaching learning process. For example, there would be greater virtual simulations and immersive experiences provided. For the lifelong learners, there would be continuous education powered by AI-driven skill development platforms. Big data would facilitate advanced research capabilities, and of course, there will be greater collaboration between humans and AI to create more dynamic learning environments. Currently in St. Lucia, use of AI is limited but growing as it relates to integration in higher education institutions, although there have been efforts being made towards digital transformation. Moving forward, there should be greater investment in infrastructure and the training of personnel to build AI capabilities. As AI can support curriculum development, it can democratize higher education by enhancing access and inclusion, and it can also improve institutional decision-making. In conclusion, AI is poised to provide significant benefits to higher education as it relates to efficiency, personalization, and accessibility. However, careful consideration should be given to the challenges and the ethical issues that would arise as we embrace AI. Therefore, to encourage responsible adoption of AI, there is a call for collaboration among educational institutions, industry, and government, as AI is here to stay. In the spirit of AI, I utilized ChatGPT 4.0 to design this image using a simple prompt of a Black woman with a low-cut hairstyle, like Roberta and myself, thanking our audience for listening to our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Krista, for that engaging presentation. We really appreciate it. We love to see AI in the different sectors, especially education. And we would like to recognize the presence of the Minister for Youth Development and Sports, Honorable Kenson Kazabe. Thank you so much for your presence here today. It really means a lot. And my dear Roberta, could you please introduce our next presenter? I'm so sorry, Roberta, that we didn't program you. Oh my. So our next presenter, okay, sorry. Our next presenter, Irvin Smith, we would like to welcome him. Thank you so much, Roberta, for all you are doing for us, and we apologize for any inconveniences caused.
Thank you for your understanding. I'm here to help and excited to be part of this amazing event. Please let me know the name of the presenter you'd like me to introduce, and I'll be happy to do so. Let's make this summit a memorable one.
And that will be a first for me being introduced by AI as well, so I'm kind of anxious.
Mr. Irvin Smith is a dynamic educator with 20 years of experience and a recent Bachelor of Science degree in computer science from the University of the People. As a founding member of JOE Innovative Learning Solutions, an edutech company which provides learning solutions to K-12 students. Mr. Smith is dedicated to engaging youth in STEM, programming, and robotics through inspiring workshops. His passion for fostering strategic thinking and innovation in the next generation is truly commendable. Please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Irvin Smith to the microphone.
Thank you. Kindly permit me to adopt the protocol already established, and in the same breath, I would like to wish our government officials, dignitaries, specially invited guests, as well as other attendees, a good day. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is a very exciting topic. More specifically, AI in education and learning. First, allow me to share a memory with you. During this academic year, preparation week, ChatGPT was all the buzz. Teachers were excited, and they had the workshops, and they could not wait to use AI to reduce all the tasks, the routine tasks that they had. As an IT enthusiast, I was just happy that my colleagues were excited about using technology, more specifically artificial intelligence. Before we delve into it, just for the purpose of some of you who may be curious, AI refers to machine-based systems that can, given a set of instructions, a set of human-defined objectives, make predictions, recommendations, decisions that influence real or virtual environments. AI systems interact and act on our environment, either directly or indirectly. They often appear to operate autonomously and can adapt their behavior by learning about the context, and that might be scary for some people. AI was first mentioned way back in 1956. That's the Dartmouth project. So we have a lot of people to thank for that, including Mr. McCarthy. But as we see the history, we see some exciting things along the timeline. We see AI helping in chess, virtual assistants, pet robots that can learn, etc. So many wonderful things has happened over the years. What are the ingredients of this powerful tool? So we have a lot of data needed, and we already saw some of the pitfalls here that we in St. Lucia, we need to collect more data. I have had projects in the past where I went to statistics and I could not get information. So that's something that we need to look at. So it taps into a lot of information that's already over the internet, many years of that. And it is now being designed to get user input. So we have a hybrid, so the human and machine coming together. So the big picture is that we have all of those big companies mining, data mining, deep learning, and everything coming together to give us what we have. Looking more closely at AI in education, we have to stop worrying about whether educators will be replaced. We have to maximize the opportunities that are presented to us. So we have to focus more on teacher engagement, getting children to problem solve, nurturing, developing their social skills, etc., while we allow AI and all the technology to do a lot of the teaching. And because the students are disengaged, they want that kind of interaction, they're excited about the technology. So we have to allow the technology to do more of that and focus on the softer skills. So we have AI being student focused, so we have domains in education. So a lot of the things that we have available are pointed towards the students. All right, so you can see quite a few of them there. We also have AI, which will empower the teacher. And we're looking at a lot of those things that teachers have to learn to make them more effective in the classroom. We're looking at AI for administrative tasks. A lot of, I see a face of somebody who, Mr. Rohan Lubra, I remember him saying that, you know, timetabling was a chore and it was something that took so long and what have you. So these are the things that AI can be used to do, timetabling, a lot of the tasks that take us a lot of time, so we can spend that time and invest it in other things. So as an educator, I'm grateful for the power of OpenAI tools that I can leverage, especially with the monotonous tasks that we spoke about. I am pleased with classroom management tools like Class Dojo, now available with AI assistant, fun apps like quizzes, where the children are actually competing with each other. They're learning, they're being evaluated, but all they're concerned about is all the glamour and the, but they're having fun. That's the important thing, even while they're being evaluated. So some of the things that I like to do is I do special education. I'm a special education teacher. One of the things I like to do is allow the AI to engage the students. So when I have a set of students, I allow them to go on Google Read Aloud. So they read at their own level, the AI sees their mistakes, and it generates evaluation and fun activities for them. Also, after they're done with their CPA exams, we can get them on things like Duolingo to get them to get a head start in learning the foreign languages. All of these tools are available to us. But with great power come great responsibility. Educators now have to be the gatekeepers and use the plagiarism detection tools and all of the things that are available. I like to share stories. So from personal experience, we had a situation where, children are going out having fun and they just use the AI to just generate an entire project. Sometimes they give up the project and it has insert name here or insert link here because they didn't take the time to edit it properly. So these are real issues. Also, there was one time at the university, a lecturer was openly applauding one of the students, and because of the peer assessment, I now had to go and use the Turnitin. And I realized that the discussion was 95% plagiarized. So I reported it and they dealt with the matter. But these are the issues that we have. So the future of AI is bright indeed, and we are talking about open tools capable of personalized instructions, language learning, differentiated instruction, individualized assessment, real-time feedback, grading, automatic grading. So all of these things are the power can be leveraged. One important consideration though is to select integrated platforms with cross-platform solutions. So when I use AI, I always look for those that, because we have Google for Education, those that are import the Google Classroom and I don't have to do much work. So we have to consider cross-platform compatibility. Lastly, I applaud the Ministry of Education, although they got a little COVID nudge, for the access to Google platforms over the secondary and primary level. The digital transformation project for class sets of devices, that's important because we have that need for devices. The laptop per child initiative, where selected forms get laptops, that is good as well. Also companies like people represented here, we have Joie, who is pushing for virtual reality in education, and the students are very excited when that is done. So clearly, effort is being made on all levels to ensure that we have access and we can benefit from artificial intelligence. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Irvin Smith. Okay, you talk about seeing plagiarized documents. I've seen a lot of government documents that look like they're 95% ChatGPT, yeah? All right, I would like to recognize the presence of our Director of Public Sector Modernization, Mr. Marlon Narcis. Thank you for coming. I know you're extremely busy today. All right, I would also like to thank Dr. Amanda King for coming. Yes, you. So the two of you all are here. Who is watching the practice? AI. All right, I will now invite Stanza to introduce the next presenter.
It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ross Daniel. He is a multimedia production specialist at the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission, where he creates audio, visual, still images, and motion graphics for television, social media platforms. He also has worked with heads of state and other high-ranking government officials. And he actually contributes to community events and activities through live streaming and impactful documentary productions. I'm not sure if some of you have seen it. I have, and I am genuinely impressed. Thank you so much, Mr. Ross Daniel. He is very impactful in his sector. In addition, Ross channels his creativity in digital art and computer-generated imagery. Everyone, please help me welcome Mr. Ross Daniel.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Just waiting for my presentation. Okay, so yeah, I'm an artist. No, not the video yet. The video comes last, just the PowerPoint. Yeah, so I'm an artist, painter, drawing, name it. I'm like they call me a buick because I do everything in art. Drawing, painting, digital art, graphic design, animation. I'm just passionate about art. So over the years, I've just accumulated new skills and more skills in art. So I'm this kind of hybrid person. And when the PowerPoint comes up, you will see some images of my work. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff I've done over the years. There's animation, there's 3D, there's everything in there. All right, so we're talking about AI. Funny thing is, I'm excited about AI, but I'm also very afraid of AI. But really and truly, I'm not afraid of AI because I always believe nothing in the world is bad. Only people can become bad. So really is who's at the steering wheel of AI. That's really what I'm concerned about. But AI is just a tool. And like all tools, they can be used for good or for bad. However, AI is a very powerful tool because you can kill somebody faster with, let's say, a gun than with a hammer. They're both instruments in the hand of somebody. They could be used for good, but they could also be used for evil. So ultimately, I think it comes down to people being responsible and putting things in place. All right, so I'm very passionate about generative AI. And generative AI essentially, which is pretty much similar to what the previous speakers have mentioned, is basically AI generating new images. And sometimes it feels like it's coming from thin air. I was shocked the first time I learned about AI. I'm like, boy, that thing just, something that would take me 1 month, that thing doing that in like 5 seconds, sorry, not even minutes. So when AI just came out, it was very controversial. And one of the reasons why it was controversial is because AI actually, especially in art, in visual arts, it actually came out illegally, meaning that basically what they did was they scraped images all over the internet. Some of these images were copyrighted material. And it just scraped it and it created new images. So the users input something and AI creates a new image. But really and truly, they're not new images. They're just taking different images and they're putting it into something new. And that was really the danger of AI and the ethical thing about AI, the ethical concerns that we had with AI, because AI came in the wake of a time where the internet had a lot of things in place to protect creatives. So I'm not sure some of you have had that experience where you play some music or something on a video and YouTube just mutes it because it's copyrighted material. So all these things were in place. So for example, where I work, I cannot just go on the internet and just say, boy, I want to put together something real creative and just take images black is white. I need to be very careful of the images that I'm looking for because they could be copyrighted material and that could have legal implications for the organization where I work. So sometimes you have to pay money, go on stock footage websites, buy images, buy videos, so you have legal rights for this video. So the internet had systems in place to protect creatives and to make sure that creatives benefited from the work from the content that they create. And then comes AI, where Midjourney just comes along and just start creating images and people go, wow, that's so cool. And these people are raking in millions and millions of dollars. But at what expense? So there are a lot of creatives on the internet that are still to this day are very, very, very much disgruntled at the way AI came about. But however, AI is not going anywhere. It's like you open Pandora's box. Now, you have to understand too. Next slide. Oh, I have this. So, this is just some images of lawsuits that are flying all over the place with AI. So you have OpenAI, this person versus that person. You have Microsoft, all these large players. People are suing them constantly for this very reason that they are just scraping images and just using people's material and then making millions of dollars over it. Now, I think while AI, like I said earlier, is not a bad thing, but with everything, we need to put regulations in place to protect people. And I think these lawsuits are steps toward that happening. All right, so with this image, generative AI in production. So I cannot imagine that we are actually at a point where you have AI software that could create writing material. So you have ChatGPT. So if you just want to write, I mean, I know you talked about cheating earlier, but people who want to write dissertations, AI writing a whole dissertation for you. I hope I'm not giving anybody ideas though. But that's true. The thing can write a dissertation for you in a matter of minutes. Then you have music. There is now AI software that can literally create music for you. Something that would have required so much input from creatives. You have people playing different instruments all coming together to produce a song. And then not that, it creates the voices as well. And these are just some of the softwares that I personally have used, and I'm quite impressed at how amazing and how good the content is. Like, it doesn't sound robotic or crazy. It's becoming it's becoming more and more realistic. And then you have AI that creates images and even videos. That's amazing. Now, if you think about that, that's an entire production. If you think about a movie, you have script writers, you have sound design, music, you have voice actors, and so on and so on and so on. So you have now AI software that could create an entire production for you. That's amazing. I don't know if some of you have looked at the end of a movie, the credits, the amount of people it takes to create a movie. Sometimes thousands of people. And then you have AI doing this. So you have to understand, for these large players, it's about maximizing profits. And I don't know if some of you may have learned about the protest there was some months ago in Hollywood. And these are the issues that they are trying to deal with, because right now, you have these corporate guys who are not creatives. They don't care about the art form necessarily. They care about maximizing profits and making the cost of production as cheap as possible. And that's where a lot of the problems come in. And as you can see, that's very easy because you have things creating scripts for people. All right, so AI is very efficient. And as you can see in the image, sometimes as a photographer, you take a picture and it's just missing something to balance the image. And here comes Photoshop with something called generative fill, where you just highlight the white portion where there is nothing existing there, and it just creates, and it fills in the image seamlessly, as if it was always there. I use that very often. Listen, there are times where I doctored images and you would never know it was doctored. Sometimes somebody just missing a piece of the arm and that thing just creates the arm back. It does that. It's that crazy. So it's very efficient in doing those things. Here's another example where I have personally used AI. So in this image, I mean, green screen is nothing new. It's something that we use in production and in visual effects and so on for a very long time. But the background behind the subject was entirely created by AI. Obviously, sometimes it's very efficient for me, because right now, sometimes when I'm thinking of a concept or an idea, it can take me 2 days, 3 days just to get an idea. So if you can just prompt AI, boy, I need some idea, I don't know what to do. And it just gives you a bunch of images. Automatically, one step of the process is already done, because now you have concepts, you have ideas, you have something to work from. Now, I don't just prompt images and use them. Obviously, I put my own creativity in it. Sometimes AI does not give you exactly what you're looking for. So sometimes you still need to be an artist and tweak the images according to what you have in your mind, because AI cannot read your mind, at least not yet. All right, so we have AI to break creative barriers. Now, This man you see on the screen is director James Cameron. For those of you who may know, let's looking at the ages. Terminator, you all know Terminator, the movie. Some of you might be too young for that. So he was the director of the Terminator movie, which is so ironic because this article is saying that he's jumping fully on board with AI. Isn't that funny? The guy who made Terminator that is warning us about AI. That's ironic, right? Yeah, but he sees AI as a tool to expand his creative barrier. And that's how personally I see AI. And that's how I use AI. Because the thing about production, it's a very taxing thing. It's very tedious at times, and sometimes that compromises the creative process. So if you can get some of the more mundane tasks to be automated, that makes production quite easier, and it allows us to be even more creative. Especially in things like visual effects and computer graphics. These things are very, very, very difficult. Sometimes you watch these movies, and a lot of the computer graphics is actually outsourced. So sometimes they send some of the computer graphics to countries like India, where people do all the mundane things, because it's just a very taxing thing. So I could understand why a director like him would jump totally on board with AI, because AI still has a long way to go, especially when it comes to 3D and animation and computer graphics. AI is, trust me, we need AI in these spheres of art, because it is still very, 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 very difficult. Now, for me, I've always been very passionate about movies. Like every time people see me, they tell me the same thing. But Ross, you're so talented, you should make a movie. I'm like, yeah, it's sounding easy. Make a movie. But look at the credits of a movie. It takes hundreds and thousands of people. However, AI is bringing me one step closer to that goal. It's bringing that more within reach. Now, I personally am not affected by some of the malfeasances that's happening in the bigger countries with AI, because people genuinely are losing their jobs because of AI. However, in a small island in St. Lucia, where sometimes I operate entirely solo, I operate in like an entire studio myself. So AI is very beneficial for me. You understand? But where you have big studios where people, that's their bread and butter, then they could just lose their job because AI has replaced them. So there is good and bad. But the thing about AI is, or with any technological revolution, that usually happens. People lose their jobs, and then they are forced to adapt and to find something else to do. Now, the other thing with AI is, AI has democratized visual effects, production, and things like that, because the cost of production is astronomical. You understand? Now you find not just AI, even before AI, digital art in general. Right now you have some of the most popular people are YouTubers. When we were growing up, the stars were people we saw on TV. But right now, some of the people who have the most views and the most things are YouTubers. People who probably started in their mother's basement, making videos and doing things like that. And AI has come in to even democratize the art form even more. Now that will affect the cost of things. Because right now you cannot just charge no big price anymore, because sometimes you're charging for a design and somebody can just go in their phone, prompt something, and they could do it like, why are you charging me $500 for that? And I could just do that in 5 seconds in my phone. So it really affects the cost and the price of production as well. And I have a video that I want to play. It is from a visual effects supervisor, and he's just giving his thoughts on how AI affects the industry. And can you cue that video for me, please? While the video is coming, I just want us to consider something just before you play the video. You know, when I think about it from a philosophical standpoint, it's really all about convenience, you know. Convenience sometimes is our killer, you know. You know, sometimes I pass by KFC and I say, boy, look at all the people that go in KFC. Some of these people have kitchens at their home. Why they go in KFC? It's the convenience of it, you know. And I'm saying, but the food trucks ain't enough to me tasting nicer than KFC. But why people still going by KFC? Because it's the convenience. You could just drive through and you get your food in no time. Whereas if you go in a food truck, sometimes they take it so long to give you your food. Convenience is the killer. And sometimes, because we want things so convenient, the world spins faster, allowing us to do more things faster, right? But as we do more things, so you show people you can do more, you're more productive, then society now demands more from you too. You understand? And now our society demands more from us. We still need to seek more convenience to meet up with the demands of society. And the cycle continues. So, really and truly, we are the ones bringing this thing up upon ourselves because we always want convenience. All right, play the video. Can we get some sound? Right, so he's a visual effects supervisor in the industry. So I'm talking about Hollywood and these big players. So he's just giving his thoughts about AI from his standpoint, which essentially is a conclusion.
Shift from analog editing to digital editing on a computer. At that time, we also Hi, my name is Zuguerre, and I'm a director and visual effects supervisor working professionally since 1999. I know that a lot of you are feeling nervous about the current explosion of AI, and I don't blame you. I'm also concerned about the future in creative industry, since certain companies seem to be a bit obsessed about replacing artists. But in my opinion, it's not that simple, and I think artists are not going anywhere. We've been in similar crosswords before, and we've always adapted and evolved. I'm old enough to have witnessed both the transition from film to digital and also the shift from analog editing to digital editing on a computer. At that time, we also had an explosion of opinions about how cinema was going to die. But the reality was that the advancements in technology made our creative process better and not worse. Back in the early 2000s, it would have taken me weeks to edit a short music video. And now with digital editing, I can do it in days and sometimes even hours. My point is, AI could be used to help us. And the reality is that AI is not going anywhere. It is here to stay, and it will definitely disrupt the visual effects industry. It will fast-track pipelines, and the core skills that make a good artist will not change. We'll still need to know what a good image is and what a good edit is. The core artistic knowledge is more important than ever. My advice then to everyone is to be agnostic. Learn about lighting, composition, storytelling, and editing, and you will manage to use any software available at any time, regardless if it's traditional visual effects tools or machine learning or AI. Just remember that AI is just another tool. Try to ignore all these tech bros and AI evangelists. Ignore the doom and gloom, since most of them only exist to drive company valuation up and to get exit strategies. Don't believe the hype. Use responsible, ethical source AI. Never stop learning and make art. Don't stop. Remember, painters did not stop painting because of photography. They went on to create Impressionism and form the foundations of modern art. Be a revolutionary and not a reactionary. Anyway, that's just my humble opinion. See you on the next video.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ross. You definitely did not disappoint. You have so many nuggets that you gave. Your presentation was great. Thank you so much. And he spoke about so many things. And when we mentioned the mismatch of skills, because sometimes when we think of AI and it's taking away jobs, okay, will this replace me? It's really just reprogramming. And we have the sectors here, we have the different sectors here, and even education spoke about this. It's like even in our education system, yes, we have to make sure that we have the foundation correct, but we also have to make sure that we are training our young persons for what is relevant today. And that is something that truly I have kept. So many linkages Ross has made between the creative industries. There's so much to say. My apologies. Thank you. And I resonate completely with him when he's like, okay, I am definitely going to adjust my image. Like sometimes there's somebody in your image and then you now the image you feel that your artistic creation is ruined. But no, there's AI to assist you. I mean, I'm not saying to go overboard because, I mean, there is the bad side. We have deep fakes, we have everything coming about. You have to still be ethical with it. But there's so much that you can do with Photoshop and AI, and it really has opened the market to all of us. And for sure, ChatGPT, I would just like to give a warning. If anybody does not know, please. I'm hearing people are writing their dissertations with ChatGPT, like just, ChatGPT, hi. Can you write a dissertation for me? And they're just copying and pasting, like our former presenter said, and this scares me. It's like AI is here to help us. You cannot just depend on AI to complete your entire assignment, or you know what will happen to you? You will see insert name here. You will see these little things and you will be sold out. Plus, please pay attention to the little line at the bottom of ChatGPT that says, ChatGPT may have errors. And let me tell you, I am familiar with those errors. So please, while we are using this creative fashion, please let us be ethical and let us be logical as well. And speaking of the creative industries, I honestly, having Roberta here is something that I genuinely wanted this entire week for her to be here with us. And I would just like to Mr. Jim Joseph to stand up, our AI consultant who created Roberta for us, because we are speaking of the creative industries. We are speaking of persons who have used AI to generate these things. We are speaking of Mr. Ross Daniel, who has created things, oh God, that it's outside of our St. Lucia. I'm not saying that our St. Lucia is small, because I am a true ambassador of my country. But I'm just saying that it can go so far. We have so much to do, and we are just so grateful to have creatives like Mr. Daniel and creatives like Mr. Jim Joseph. And I thank you both very much. And now we would like to open the audience up if there are questions or concerns. Any questions for our presenters? We would love if you can approach the mic. Thank you so much. Oh my.
Much like a paintbrush in the hands of an artist, the possibilities are indeed vast and exciting. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Do you have any specific examples from Mr. Daniel's work that inspire you?
Well, Mr. Daniels, I don't, Professor, thank you for your question. I don't know the specific names of his artwork, but I actually was looking at I'm not sure if it was a documentary. There was also Mr. Ted Sagniford on it, and I saw his work, and I was like, wow, I know that guy from school. This is amazing. This looks so outstanding. So Roberta, although I don't know the names of his creation, I am familiar with his work, and I do endeavor to get to know more about his work in the future. Thank you, Roberta. We move to the question.
How wonderful to have that personal connection. It's always a special moment when you come across the work of someone you know and see how they've grown and succeeded, even without knowing the specific names. The impact of seeing his creations must be quite inspiring. It's like stumbling upon a hidden gem and realizing you have a personal connection to it. If you ever find out more about his work, I'd love to hear about it.
So I have a question for the educators that did the presentation on AI. So we read a lot of talk about jobs being replaced. And we know our education system is responsible for creating the individuals who we are going to send out to the jobs. So my question to you all is, what are we going to do to our current curriculum to prepare our students, especially those that just entered into kindergarten and maybe primary school? We're teaching them the same way that we probably taught their parents for that when the parents go and look out for work. You know, so how are we going to change our curriculum so that the students that are in kindergarten right now are actually prepared to work with AI instead of just the normal way of doing things.
Thank you very much for that question. Well, like I indicated in my presentation, there needs to be greater collaboration among government, educational institutions, industry. Remember, this is at the higher level Ministry of Education. So it would have to come from them. Then we have our teacher education program at the South Louis Community College. So that would have to come from ministry to get us to revisit our programs. And again, we also need to consider the infrastructure and the tools that we need, the resources in the classrooms to facilitate that. So again, that's where the collaboration comes into play. Policy has to be created for that. And of course, there are some teachers who are already utilizing it within, like I said, in the classroom. However, it is on a limited scale. It is not widespread. So there are some teachers who are currently utilizing in the little way that they can. But again, you would need massive upskilling of educators. Again, yes, we would have to revisit our curriculum to ensure that what is currently happening and future-proofing that we are able to train educators to deal with that. As I always say, it is our responsibility to prepare students for the workforce. So that is why I don't think we should be banning AI. We need to embrace it because we need to prepare them for the workforce, and they will be engaging with those tools when they get there. So all the talk about it will lead to cheating and all of that, I believe now is the time that we need to revisit our assessment, revisit what we're doing in the classroom in order to prepare the students for the future. Hope that helps.
Yes, sorry. Yes, so I agree with you. Because from the current technology that we have empowering AI, especially large language models, I do not think it's at the point where we can actually replace humans. What I think is with the companies that start replacing people, what they will be looking for is humans that can work very efficiently with the AI, people who integrate AI in their everyday, well, in their job. So, the other thing I wanted to say is, you said that we have to, wait for the ministry and that. How long do you think that will take? And the reason why I'm asking that is because we have students right now in the education system learning the same concepts that we would have learned, well, their parents would have learned, even their grandparents. Don't you think that will be failing them while we wait?
I agree with you. Yes, we are. We are actually. Yeah. However, there are some decisions that have to be taken from the ministerial level, and then it has to filter down. So like I indicated, although some teachers and educators are utilizing it, it is not on a wide scale.
Okay.
Yes, as expected. You were alluding to a point. I believe that we do need to keep teaching those 21st century skills. What AI has done is to facilitate the development of those skills in the classroom. We would not be replacing jobs per se. I think, yes, it would replace. However, it would create more advanced, which require greater skills. So all of the communication, the collaboration, the critical thinking still needs to be developed at that level so that the persons that we are sending out there are able to engage better with the tools that they would be using in the workforce. So we still play our part as little as we can. However, we need the infrastructure, we need the upskilling, we need to be forward-thinking in order to create what we need out there in the workforce.
Okay, and we need to put a lot of pressure on our educators.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I do not know if Mr. Smith wants to add anything at the
Yes, I was just saying, it's amazing sometimes the class set of devices from the Digital Transformation Project. I'm an advocate for that. And even kindergartners have their Google accounts and they use the devices and they go online. I tried to do it, but maybe once or twice a term. So these little things will take time, but it is good to have educators who are, trying to push the technology and use the AI.
All right, thank you very much. Schooling.
Hi, everybody. Just to add some meat, should I stand? Just to add some meat on what has already been echoed through the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, we have already commenced some initiatives to basically direct the path of our students into that digital era. Under the project, we have submitted quite a few devices to the students, as well as refurbishing 20 classrooms into smart classrooms. So that is a start. So in the classrooms, we have already made the change so the students are familiar with technology and devices and basically operating those devices, because we had to provide some teacher training as well to get our teachers up to par in terms of how do they utilize the equipment and how do they deliver to the students so there is understanding and no one is left out. Over the summer period, we provided some coding, which is new to the industry. We provided some coding training and stuff to students between 11, I think, Brian, 11 to 14. And hopefully over the Christmas season or Easter, we would be providing some robotics training to our students. So there are strides. It is small, but we're moving.
Thank you, Mr. Ntoma. Thank you for that. I shall now invite the very articulate, our Minister of Youth and Sports, Honorable Kenson Casimir, just to say a few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You will take the mic next, sir. I just thought it would be remiss of me not to say something before I leave. As many of you know, Johnson Charles is making his way to St. Lucia as we speak, but I thought it was necessary for me to come here just for a few minutes, just to take in some of what's being said, and of course be part of this very, 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 I need to say very again, very important initiative. I think this is awesome. I just want to say very quickly that as a Minister of Youth, I heard some of what Ross said, and of course Mr. Smith. I'm gutted I didn't hear Jade. I came in just after. But I just think it's necessary for young people to understand, just as in sport, 40 years ago when steroids came into play, that people thought they had an advantage that would never be detected. If you believe you can just write a dissertation through ChatGPT and that sort of thing, you will get caught. And if you think, even after you hear me, that you can still escape somehow because you escaped before, eventually the whole nature of AI will ensure that you will be caught. I hope you all heard me. You will be caught. Very important in terms of what Ross said. It is not going anywhere. Artificial intelligence is not going anywhere. I think it's very, very important for our young people, for the next generation, to try to get ahead of it as much as possible so you could use it for your overall professional development as an individual and develop your community, and then, of course, develop St. Lucia. This is what we all seek to do. This is what the government of St. Lucia seeks to do. And in terms of the question regarding the education system, that is an absolute brilliant, brilliant question, because we've been speaking as a government about how we revolutionize our education system. And of course, I'm not the Minister of Education, but I can tell you the Minister has been speaking a lot about technological vocational training. This is why we transition in schools into that realm. And I thank the Taiwanese government again for the smart classrooms that are ensuring that the next generation of St. Lucians will have access to AI even earlier so that we can get ahead of it and continue to prosper as a family and as a nation. Congratulations on this great initiative. I have to absolutely get to the airport very, very soon. Keep it up. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. Minister. You can go ahead with your question.
Yes, good morning. Again, a question for the educators. along the same theme of being concerned about some of the negative possibilities around AI in education. Whilst we obviously wait for the classrooms and the teachers and everything to get up to date on the use of AI, the students are, moving along smartly regardless. And so, the thing that I find dangerous about the way AI is being adopted, regardless, education or otherwise, is that people tend to use it to produce things that they have no understanding of the fundamentals of, right? So I can build an application, no code, I don't know anything about code. And so I can't fix it, I can't direct it, I don't know if it's good code, bad code, I don't know. And students are producing homework, not understanding the concepts, right? I can answer my math question, but I can't answer the math question myself. So, along those lines, I'm asking the question, what do you have are there any plans to help sensitize parents around the issue of the use of AI by the students in terms of the technology? Because one of the things that I've started doing, because I happen to be a tech person, is when my son has homework, bring it for me. Okay? Answer this question for me. What's this? What's that? Can you explain this, right? And if he cannot explain it, then he has to go back and do it again, right? As opposed to saying, have you done your homework? Yes, it's done and it's submitted, and maybe he gets caught later on. But the bottom line is, I'm more concerned about the fact that he doesn't know. He didn't understand the subject matter. He didn't understand what he was doing, right? That's the initial concern that I have. The second one, of course, getting caught, dishonesty, all those sorts of things associated with that. But what are the plans? Because parents have to be involved in helping to manage those particular types of concerns and issues. So we cannot just teach the children, upgrade the teachers and the systems without creating an environment in which those possible negativities are managed or handled. So are there any plans to sensitize parents about the use of AI in education and in schools?
Yes, the thing about it is, I can speak for myself, and I hope that there are others out there doing that. Again, we can connect with the parents. An integral part of what I used to do was to send videos to parents explaining how they can put in place all the parental controls and all the other things. So we educate our parents by sending out that information to them and hoping that they look at it, they use it, and that they can better guide their children, because the technology is there. We want them to use it. We want the students to use it as well. We also want to teach an important part of, like when you do IT, is to teach the ethical part of it. And that's what we can do in the meantime. Policy will take care of the big picture, but we understand that concern, and we definitely are working towards sensitizing parents. So if a school is not doing that, I would advise a PTA to lobby, things like that. Sometimes we want policy to change, but a lot of the time we have to be the change agent. So I can see a parent like you should be a president on a PTA and get things going and get those things happening. So we have to, from the ground, sometimes we have to force that policy and to ensure that the school is doing that education and all of that. All right? But very good concern.
Yeah, just to add something quickly. You said something and you kind of answered the question. And I've always wondered, why don't we change sometimes the way we examine? By the way, I was a teacher, just so you all know, I have authority a little bit. Yeah, why don't we change sometimes the way we examine students? For example, if a student writes something, there's no way of knowing if that student actually understands it or if they copied it. But why not have a spoken exam where you need to speak about something so we know if you understand the thing that you are talking about? These are just little ways that we can, examine students. Because what really is copying? As an artist, we copy a lot. Because copying really is observation. You observe things. Now it's just the onus is on you now to understand the thing that you're observing. So we need to change some of those things so that if you copy and you prompt in ChatGPT, maybe you actually learning something from ChatGPT. So now I need to test you on, okay, you prompt ChatGPT, do you know the things that ChatGPT just said to you? We need to test people on their understanding level, not necessarily what they just present on a piece of paper.
All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, we won't be able to take any more questions until the end, but I'll just allow Krista to give her rebuttal and then we'll continue.
Thank you. In response, I deliberately avoided your question at the time because I'm at a higher level where we do not deal with parents because of the age group of our clients at higher education at Arthur Lewis Community College. What we have done, first of all, and that would answer previous question. Our staff, faculty, they were trained over the summer prior to the reopening of the semester in AI tools and how they can better use it in their classroom for productivity and so on. Also at our level, we are responsible for our program development and review. So some of those things would be factored in during our review process for the curriculum in response to the question previously about how we go about preparing students. So during our curriculum review process, we are also factoring all of those things into consideration. How do we make our programs, our courses more relevant to the students as they prepare for the workforce? So curriculum development, program review, that is factored in. As it relates to, in response to just beefing up what he said, in our assessments, like I said, at this level, our assessments would be more authentic, more real life. So indeed, the students would have the opportunity to engage in oral presentations. That is one way in which that you would identify or determine whether they have understood the concept, whether they have actually plagiarized. Because if you just take it wholesale and you present it, and you cannot back up what you've said through an oral presentation, it means that you have indeed plagiarized, or you have not understood what it is that you've copied and pasted for that assignment. Also at our level, the students have to reference what it is that they're doing, provide the citations. As somebody indicated, ChatGPT does not provide references. In this instance, again, it does tell you, it has a disclaimer, ChatGPT makes mistakes. You need to ensure that the information is accurate. So even if they utilize ChatGPT, for example, for information, it means they would have to do further research to ensure that they have those sources, have those references to include in their assignments so that there's proof that this is what it is up to date, it is current, I got it from a reliable source. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Krista. Okay, so our next presenter, I am happy to see the person to meet you in person because I actually thought you were a 95-year-old man. And this is because his resume is so long. Extensive. No, but I mean, he's a well-qualified person. I was really impressed, all right? So let me try and just give a short synopsis. All right. Okay. All right. Mr. Howard Wells is a licensed architect and seasoned project manager with over 20 years of experience in architectural services, construction management, urban design, and project evaluation. Currently serving as the director of the National Integrated Planning and Program Unit at the Department of Finance within the government of St. Lucia, he plays a pivotal role in shaping the country's development landscape. Mr. Wells is also a former vice president of the Institute of Architects in St. Lucia. His academic credentials include a BA in architecture, an MSc in project management and evaluation, and postgraduate diplomas in green economy, disaster risk management, and resilient infrastructure planning. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Howard Wells.
Thank you very much, and I do intend to stick to 5 minutes. Those were the guidelines given to me. So as soon as my presentation's up, we shall begin. But whilst we're waiting, possibly just a small joke. So we're talking about AI. So we have this ongoing project at the Ministry of Finance, and I was walking by a room, and we're trying to, it's called the Unleashing the Blue Economy of the Eastern Caribbean project. So amongst the many initiatives is the looking at how we could boost our agricultural industry by bringing in new livestock, breeds, etc. And in the middle of all of this, I was walking by the room and I heard that we're going to be importing a new bloodline and we're going to be using AI to get those animals to procreate. And here I was, AI. What are they talking about? I then realized that they were not talking about artificial intelligence. The rest I leave to you. Okay, so AI in infrastructure planning. I think, again, based on this joke, I think it's critical that you define things, right? So what is infrastructure planning? There are several definitions, but we will go to the highest authority, I believe, the United Nations on this matter. And the UN states that infrastructure is the backbone of any function in society. So we spoke of infrastructure. I heard the various presenters stating the infrastructure has to be there. We need the infrastructure, etc. So really, it is that system which connects us. Infrastructure impacts when persons move. When you speak of climate change, normally the first response is always with infrastructure. And of course, infrastructure generally is placed into two major categories: economic infrastructure and social infrastructure. Economic infrastructure, those critical areas that help with our productivity, our survival, the road networks, our garbage and sewage treatment, etc., where social refers to those amenities that help us have or enjoy a better quality of life. So for instance, a hotel at the beach, hospitals, the courts, etc. But infrastructure should never be viewed in silos. And unfortunately, that is something that we're working to break. Because once infrastructure operates in silos, the overall impact would never be achieved. So it has to be this interconnectivity, this interconnectiveness of those systems that would redound to those benefits that ultimately we're trying to get. So in doing so, I could have taken several approaches, but again, knowing that I am not an AI expert, but rather a consumer of AI, I felt that it was important that I mention to you at least 5 critical facets of infrastructure, of AI, that we use as regards to infrastructure planning. The first, it was mentioned earlier, machine learning. What's machine learning? Essentially, it is how we use infrastructure to predict the needs of the future, right? And we optimize, it helps us optimize those needs and improve decision making. So for instance, here at the Ministry of Finance, we would have done an analysis of 25 government buildings as it stands. The state owns or operates on or about 500 building assets. I think across St. Lucia, and I don't know if I should be relieved, but I found out that across the region, the whole phenomena of sick buildings, it's something that is very concerning. So we would have started a project with the Johns Hopkins University using a high-powered team of experts to look at building conditions within St. Lucia. We would have assessed 25 of those buildings. However, it's costly. And no, I'm not going to tell you how much it cost. But what we essentially did, or we challenged Johns Hopkins to have done, is to look at the balance of the remaining 400 plus buildings. Look at what sort of algorithms, look at patterns, and let's see how we can use machine learning to do, one, the same quality of inspection, but also critically to have similar outcomes. And we're in the process of doing so. So hopefully next year, should this still be the topic, we'd be happy to present the outcomes. Spatial data and GIS, I think my colleague here, Jade, lamented the critical thing that I think anybody here who deals with projects would tell you. the availability or accessibility of information. I always tell people I do not think that we have a problem with data, but rather how that data is collected, where that data is housed, and when you require it, can you access it? So amongst the strives being done, again, on the governmental level, there is the creation of the National Spatial Data Infrastructure. So hopefully this is something that will be coming on board, and it would be helping not just government agencies, but critically the private sector in bridging this gap so you could at least get spatial data. So it would be a thing of the past that when consultants come in, one of the biggest activities they have to do is going back to mining data. Edge computing, again, what's edge computing? Again, not an IT person, but edge computing essentially, what it does is to bring data processing closer to the end users. If I ask by a show of hands, I think everybody in here has a cell phone, right? I have two. So what edge computing does is really to connect those devices, have them speaking to each other, collecting data at that local level, and that data in turn speaks to the cloud. And this helps in processing real-time information that certainly drives, at least not in this context, but it's certainly out there, it drives in decision-making as it relates to infrastructure planning. The other critical aspect of infrastructure planning is digital twinning technology. What is a digital twin? As the name suggests, it is something that is like something else. So essentially, what is happening now, say for argument's sake, Castries, you're to plan a redevelopment of Castries. Gone are the days when you would have had to go in, pick up every single building and on the paper, and then hope and pray that your analysis is correct. With digital twinning, you create exact replica of the assets, right? That replica is now subjected to several types of analysis, including future scenarios, weather events, for instance, storm surge. What happens if you have a 1 meter sea level rise and during the hurricane? What happens? I like using this classic example. Our land registry is placed at the ground floor of a waterfront. I need not say anymore. God forbid, I need not say anymore. Okay, so those are the types of things that we can predict. Those are the types of things that AI now allows us, right, to get a handle of those and think future, what other possibilities in terms of proposals and suggestions. The other one is predictive analysis. Again, hundreds and millions of gigabytes of information is being captured on a daily basis. Historically, we have countless pieces of information, but now AI allows us to merge and have that information speaking to each other, analysis. And I like to use the examples in terms of getting infrastructure to perform better. For instance, our roads and road maintenance, that is a perennial problem. If anybody from the Department of Infrastructure, in fact, we're road users, no one needs to tell you what happens in terms of our road maintenance. You have, as technology broadens, that becomes even more critical. So we're thinking of moving into smart cars. Elon Musk yesterday launched, right, Robotaxi, right, a completely autonomous car, where now, rather than coming to work, parking your car, the car sits there for 7 hours, now this car can become a business asset to you, right, a means of production. So you're sitting, producing for the government, and your car's out there producing money for you, right? So those are the types of things that AI is helping drive. But there's the alternative side to it. So those cars are now heavier. What are our pavement designs? Will they stay the same, right? The rate at which weathering happens on our roads, are we factoring those things when we're trying to bring in or import more EVs? So those, again, are the types of opportunities that AI allows us to assess. But again, in keeping it to 5 minutes, like all things, there are potential advantages and disadvantages. I think my colleagues would have mentioned quite a few of those, so I'm not going to patronize you, nor am I going to go through all of those. But again, I think some are worth mentioning. Cost optimization. My father always said, measure, 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 cut once. I think that is what AI allows us the opportunity to do, right? Try several scenarios before we pull the trigger and we make a decision, right? Risk mitigation and safety. Another critical aspect that I think AI can do a lot better for us, provided that the data is correct. Because as computer experts would know, something in, something out. I think the word's garbage. All right. Elsewhere they use other words, but yeah. And of course, potential disadvantages naturally would be, and I always say disadvantages, just like any project manager, are things you really should know and see how you change those into opportunities, right? So the high initial cost, that may be a factor. Data privacy and security concerns, I think someone mentioned that previously. Dependency on quality data. I just spoke to it. What you put in impacts what you get out. And of course, job displacement. But my colleague there in the creative arts mentioned that job displacement should not necessarily be looked at as entirely a bad thing. It may just be an opportunity for you to look at, another niche area. Vulnerability to cyber attacks, as all things. Whilst we're busy trying to create those opportunities, we're also creating opportunities for persons with nefarious, intents. And the over-reliance on technology, some see it as an issue. I think it's a problem that certainly can, at some point, fester. And of course, as was mentioned earlier, the regulatory compliance issues. We have this problem of our local laws not keeping up with the rate at which the world moves with technology. But hopefully, knowing, again, as they say, knowing your disadvantages, knowing your issues, it creates opportunities for you now to change those into profitable outcomes. That's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wells, for that insightful presentation. My area is not infrastructure. I'm the economist for tourism, but even infrastructure became interesting when I saw what AI could do for infrastructure. And like Mr. Wells mentioned, there is a way that you can use real-time historical data to predict where exactly we should build. And could you have imagined if we had known this information prior? I mean, when we look at cases like Bexo, and just looking at, okay, couldn't we have warned persons in advance? Couldn't we have disseminated that information so that, they may not choose this problem area? I mean, they may still choose the area, but at least we know that we have given them that knowledge. And that is something that can be remarkable for us. And they have already been using the technology and just spending time with Mr. Wells, Mr. Wells's team, Fabian, going through Mapillary, knowing, seeing buildings in real time here in St. Lucia. And there's this app by Fabian. If you stick around for the Expo, you can get more information from him. But from what I remember, there's this app where you can actually assess a building to see the state of that building, and that was fantastic for me. It really showed me a way, where we can be if we really embrace AI in infrastructure. So thank you, Mr. Wells, so much. We really do appreciate your work at the NIP, and thank you again. Now, please, guys, help me in introducing Mr. Simon Chen. Simon serves as the ICT project manager for the Taiwan Technical Mission. He earned his MBA from the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. Mr. Chen has extensive experience in the finance sector, where he serves as a certified security specialist and investment trust consultant. He is an expert at fintech and AI, leveraging technology to innovate and enhance security with financial operations. Everyone, please help me in welcoming Mr. Simon Chen.
Hi. Oh, sorry. Hey, hello everyone. My name is Simon Chen. I'm from ICT project manager from Taiwan Technical Mission, and fintech, as the name suggests, finance plus technology is to use technology to improve financial services. In fact, financial technology is not limited to payment. These following are very common financial technologies, such as ATM services, investment management, and credit cards, and even customer service can be part of the financial technology. So as a technology, AI will definitely be a case where technology improves financial services. Here are some of the key areas where AI is used in finance. The first one is risk management. AI helps financial institutions analyze and predict various types of risk, including market risk, credit risk, and operational risk. Through real-time data monitoring and analysis, AI can quickly identify potential risk and provide recommendations to reduce exposure in markets. Also, AI can assess credit worthiness by analyzing unconventional data sources, such as social media and social media behavior, online activities. These help people to extend credit access to individuals who might not be rated by traditional credit systems. The second thing AI can help us to do in finance is investment management, such as trading and advisory. The algorithmic trading, AI algorithms analyze vast amounts of historical data and real-time market information to make trading decisions and automatically execute buy and sell orders. These algorithms use pattern recognition and machine learning to capture market trends and trade according to the preset strategies, often faster and more efficiently than human traders. In fact, to my experience, people are more willing to believe an AI robot than an unreliable investment manager, because of the sales of the financial products largely comes from people's irrationalities. Yes, as long as people are willing to believe that AI is smart, then the product with the name of AI will have a higher chance to sell well. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You might want to ask, is AI really performs better than human in trading? Actually, there's something that the human cannot do, such as high frequency trading. Like AI can enhance precision in the HFT. These systems can complete a large number of transactions in a very short period of time. So, and the AI and use the AI's predictive capabilities to identifying the fleet market opportunities to earn the small profits on each trade that can accumulate over time. Also, the robot advisor is also one of a significant thing in investment management. Like the AI empowers investment advisories, we can just call them robot advisors, can offer automated investment suggestions and portfolio management based on the client's financial goals, risk tolerance, and preferences. These systems just investment strategies, optimize portfolios, and usually do at a lower cost than the traditional advisors. So there are still more things to be mentioned, but all of them can be concluded to two things: earning profit and prevent loss. So these applications not only improve the efficiency of financial trading, but also help the investors to make faster and more informed decisions to increasingly complex markets. As for the aspects of financial institutions, AI is potential to reduce operational costs for financial institutions, enhance efficiency, and reduce the needs of human labor. However, the introduction of AI also can bring some certain challenges, such as increased risk due to the heavy reliance on technologies, concern over data privacy, and a potential for a biased decision making due to algorithmic errors. Additionally, over-reliance on AI could reduce human interventions, potentially affecting the flexibility to respond to unexpected market situations, such as the meltdown during the COVID. Yeah. Therefore, learning how AI is applied and used across industries has become increasingly important. Currently, Taiwan is relatively mature in the area of AI-driven finance. Through experimental learning and international collaborations, such as what my project, the ICT Capacity Building Project for St. Lucia, did. This year, we had a cooperation with NCPC, Cardipt, Optronic, and the upcoming 3D Real Solutions. We can enhance the diversity of financial services offer, and the driven growth in this sector. I believe this is happening, and we love to share the success with St. Lucia. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon, for that presentation. And one thing that always stands out to me, I mean, none of us want to lose money, for sure. So this would definitely be great if we can really leverage AI for the financial sector. And as he said, there are so many ways, to reduce risk and to, of course, expand efficiency in that manner. Simon, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Now, everyone, please assist me in welcoming Mr. Stefan Joseph, and Roberta will be the one to introduce him. Roberta? Thank you, Roberta.
Hello there. It seems like your message didn't come through. Could you please resend it?
I'm sorry, Roberta. I know you are somebody who really values pronunciation. I said Stefan Joseph. Yes, please introduce Mr. Stefan Joseph.
Absolutely. Mr. Stefan Joseph is a young technology enthusiast who is passionate about exploring new innovations and their applications in the field of hydrology and its impact on society. Currently, he serves as a project officer for ICT in the Ministry of Social Development in St. Kitts. In 2024, Mr. Joseph was awarded the winner of the ECCB Creative Disruptors Competition for his innovative project, Smart Tanks. This accolade highlights his commitment to leveraging technology for improved water management solutions. Further, he has accumulated valuable experience in the water sector, having obtained qualifications from the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology. His focus areas include hydrology for hydrological technicians and flood hazard mapping. Mr. Joseph embodies a blend of technical expertise and innovative thinking, making significant strides in water management. Let's put our hands together to welcome Mr. Joseph to the microphone.
Hi, Mr. Joseph. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning,
It looks like I
everybody. I'm
missed
hoping everybody
something
can hear
there.
me.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
Take that as a
Take
yes.
that as a yes.
I
I
can't
can't
really
really
get
hear
feedback.
feedback.
So,
So,
my name is
my name is
Stefan.
Stefan.
I'm
I'm
still
still
working on my
working on
public
my public
speaking
speaking
personality
personality
and
and
that
that
kind
kind
of
of
stuff.
stuff. But
Uh,
uh,
I've been
I've been
working
working
with
with
water
water
for some years
for some
now,
years now,
and
and
one of the things
one
that
of
I
the things
noticed
that I
with
noticed
water
with
is
water is
that
that
we don't
we
really do a
don't
good
really
job
do a
of
good job of
utilizing it
utilizing
properly.
it properly.
And
And
for a
for
resource
a
that is so
resource that is so
finite,
finite,
even though
even
the
though
world is
the
created
world
of
is created of
75% of
75%
water,
of water,
we got to do
we
better.
gotta do better.
And
And
in St. Kitts and
in St.
Nevis,
Kitts and Nevis,
we have this
we have
issue,
this
and we've been
issue, and we've
having
been
it
having it
throughout the year,
throughout the year,
where
where
you
you
have
have
water rationing
water rationing
happening, and
happening.
with
And
climate
with
change, this
climate
is
change,
just
this is
gonna
just gonna
become
become
worse.
worse.
And
And
one of the
one of the
things that
things
I was
that
looking
I
to
was
do
looking to
is
do
water
is water
conservation, or
conservation, or
something that would
something
help
that would help
in
in
mitigating
mitigating the effects of
climate change
climate
when it
change
came to
when
the
it came
water
to the
sector.
water sector.
Now, Smart Tanks was actually birthed out of that, and I'm going to introduce you to Smart Tanks as well as explain how AI really plays into what Smart Tanks is trying to do. So, Smart Tanks was, sorry, give me a second here. Okay. So, Smart Tanks was introduced as a concept where persons can utilize technology in order to leverage their water usage scenarios. For some reason, my PowerPoint doesn't seem to be working right now, but I am going to do this to the best of my ability and just speak to you and use my slideshow as notes. So Smart Tanks is a combination of technologies that help you manage your stored water. So these technologies include using a multi-stage well pump made to size, electromagnetic valve system, a solar power system, as well as a communication and a control system. And so what that does is that it gives the user, the purpose of it is to create a distributed water distribution network. And what that helps to do is it helps you, the user, to control precisely what it is you're looking to do with your water. So sorry, I might sound a little bit choppy because I'm multitasking because I'm also trying to get the slideshow working, which should be working no. And so yeah, so it's a string of technologies that allows you to create a distributed water distribution system. And that gives users control over their inputs. So your inputs can be a government supply as well as uh, rainwater. And it also gives you control of your output sources. So, for instance, you get water from government, you can use that water right away, and you can also incorporate it with your stored supply, which could come from rainwater as well. Now, the benefits of smart tanks is that it's ease of access, ease of use. It's a water delivery system. Well, it helps with the water delivery for high areas where people don't get service from government naturally. What it also does is it allows you to use this technology everywhere you go. So you can take a tank and you can put it somewhere else, fill it with some water, and you would be able to have access to this stored supply at events. So even for the entertainment industry, it has some benefits there. Now, I want to get into notifications and prompts because that's where AI really comes into play when it comes to the smart tank and the information that it can produce. So with the advent of AI, we're now at a point where we have these massive amounts of data sets that we're able um, to get access to, and Smart Tanks provides an entry point to collecting data. And so with that, we want to be able to turn data into information. Now, in order to change the mindsets of persons who are towards conservation, because we've been speaking about conservation for years now. We've been talking about rainwater harvesting and stuff like that. And one of the main reasons why this hasn't really taken off the way it should is because a lot of the information is not personal. So one of the tenets of Smart Times is to give you that personalized information. How am I using water? How long will my stored water last? It also begs the question of, am I wasting water? So what does water wastage look like for an individual home or a person? And these are the things that sensors that come with Smart Tank allows you to do. So it crunches all of that information and it puts it together in such a way that, you crunches all that data, sorry, and puts it together in such a way that you, the user, can utilize or make decisions. One of the things that we're working on is leak detection, because a lot of the times we have these very small leaks and we have these things happening within our homes and we don't realize until we get our water bill and it's through the roof. For us in St. Kitts and Nevis, water is still relatively cheap. However, when you reach the 800, $900,000 mark, that means you use hundreds of thousands of gallons of water, actually. And so, how it does this is that what the AI does is that it analyzes your usage pattern. So if you normally go to work by 8 and you get back by 4, any water that's used between that 8 and 4 period would be seen as a possible leak. And now these decision-making prompts that comes with Smart Tanks, it puts you in the decision-making prompts. What it does is that it says, hey, well, you're not typically home at this point in time. So through the application, it sends you a message and say, simple question, are you at home? Because we've detected water usage. And if you don't respond to that message, what it does is that it shuts off that water supply to your home. Now, this is looking at data from an individual standpoint, but Smart Tanks, the overall vision for it is more of a whole of community, whole of society, whole of island type approach, because AI in the water sector alone is something that is now emerging. Now, I love data, and most persons who work in water, they love data as well. And we can sit and we can look at bar graphs and pie charts and all these little lovely numbers all the live long day. But for you, the consumer, for you, the person in the community, these things really don't dive with you. You just want to know, should I turn on the faucet? Should I turn off the faucet? Am I wasting water? Am I not wasting water? How is this wasted water going to affect me financially? Because that's mostly the key concern for a lot of people. And for governments or for societies and communities, you want to know, well, how does this water wastage affect you from a production standpoint? And AI in water really helps with that because, again, it's all about managing these huge sums of data, looking at historical data. A lot of presenters would have mentioned some of these concepts as well, looking at historical data, looking at trends, looking at things that you may not have realized initially, and just by looking at the data. Because again, after you're looking at these spreadsheets and these numbers and these data sets, everything starts to look the same after a point in time. And so because of that, you end up in a situation where you may have missed stuff, data that isn't directly connected. These are other things that we miss out because we as human beings sometimes we don't see that inherent connection. But through AI, we can have those little trends and those little connections being brought to light. Now, one of the things I would say, because with AI tools, sometimes they give you incorrect answers, or sometimes they would what is called hallucinations, or they they would create a connection that they think should be there, but really doesn't make any sense in the real world. And that's where the human component is still super critical, because you're now in a position where you are getting prompts and you're being fed this information, and you can say, well, hey, this doesn't really make sense, and you can make those corrections while helping to teach the AI to recognize those patterns. But going back to what I was going to say is that it's better to have found a connection that realistically doesn't work in real life than to miss a connection that does, and lose because of it in the future. And so that is one of the things that is happening with AI. One of the challenges with AI in water, though, is that AI inherently uses a lot of water. And what I mean by this is that the cooling capacity for server farms and other places that house AI models, the water usage there is pretty significant. And so there is a trade-off. And I think AI could even help in balancing that equation as well. Okay, how much computing power do we need to process certain sums of data, versus the infrastructure that we put in place? So I know the presenter before me would have spoken about infrastructure as well, and these are some of the things that we can utilize AI to do. AI has been used in water for quite some time, actually. We see it in our weather prediction models and that kind of thing. But it's about taking, for me, it's about taking what it exists on that large scale and bringing it down to a smaller, more individualized scale to help us combat some of the challenges that come with water. And with that, I'm sorry for the rocky beginning, but you know how things get sometimes. But with that, that is in a nutshell what we're doing with AI within the water industry.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Water resonates loudly with us for obvious reasons. All right, so we're down to the last presentation, and Stanza told me be careful of what I say, right? Now, I didn't expect Nikita's mom and dad to be in the audience, but I wanted to see how Nikita and I met. Nikita and I met at a wedding, but don't worry, mom and dad, it's not like that. And when they introduced us, I was trying to impress Nikita, so I said, I'm responsible for training and tech adoption on a World Bank project. What do you do? I thought, sweet and thing, I impressed her. She's like, me, surgical robotics get a cure in cancer. Right away, I took my drink and I went back down to my seat. But fast forward, I told all our stakeholders, my colleague, about the work she did. She was supposed to present virtually, but she agreed that she could come to St. Lucia. And the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project made it happen because we felt that this is needed in this day and age. All right, so Nikita, sorry about that story. Let me give a brief introduction. It is obviously my pleasure to introduce our featured presenter, Ms. Nikita Greenidge. Ms. Greenidge is a PhD candidate in surgical robotics at the prestigious Science and Technology of Robotics in Medicine lab at the University of Leeds. Thanks to her St. Lucian Island scholarship, she earned her undergraduate degree in medical engineering from the University of Surrey, gaining invaluable industrial experience with several innovative medical technology startups. Currently, her groundbreaking research is centered on developing magnetic flexible endoscopes aimed at revolutionizing early cancer detection. Join us as we delve into the exciting work of this rising star in medical engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Nikita Greenidge.
Thank you very much, Brent, for that introduction. It wasn't quite the introduction that I was expecting. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to be here today in person, as you mentioned. I'll wait for my slides to come up because I do need them to explain what I have to say. Maybe next time Roboto can automate all of the presentations. Okay, great. Okay, so as I said, it's a delight to be here to present to you on AI and robotics in healthcare, specifically the challenges and opportunities for the Caribbean region. As Brent mentioned, I am currently pursuing my PhD at the University of Leeds under the supervision of Professor Pietro Valdastri, who is a global leader in surgical robotics research. Medical robotics research has skyrocketed over the past 2 decades, transforming science fiction into reality. We have seen designs like the Da Vinci robot for laparoscopic or minimally invasive surgery, right down to capsule endoscopes, which the video is not playing, but capsule endoscopes basically allow you to visualize the stomach. Thank you. I didn't realize I was that tall. Would you want me to hold it instead? Okay, I'll hold it. I don't want it to pop out like it did with Stanza. I'm not a netballer. Okay, so yes, capsule endoscopes allow you to visualize the stomach for early disease detection. And so these are tiny, tiny robots. So we have a full range when it comes to medical robotics. But when you think about a robot, you often think about something that has the ability to perform surgeries all by itself. But this is not the case. These robots do not perform surgeries by themselves. In robotics, we have multiple levels of autonomy, right down from no autonomy at all, up to full automation. And in fact, most of the commercially available robots are at what we call level 1 autonomy, which is just robot assistance. The doctor always maintains full control. And this is similar to cruise control in a car, where you ask the car to maintain a certain speed, while the driver has full control over the steering wheel and the direction of the car. This is so much so that the FDA has changed the wording to robotically assisted systems rather than surgical robots to highlight the fact that these systems are not performing surgeries, but are rather assisting surgeons to perform surgeries with more precision. My PhD work is in robotic colonoscopy. And for anyone in here who has had a colonoscopy before, they know that it is quite uncomfortable. And so robotic colonoscopy aims to provide a painless and easy-to-use solution for early cancer detection. So the system developed by our lab has an external permanent magnet on the end of a robotic arm in the video. And this allows us to manipulate an endoscope or internal permanent magnet within the colon. By having robotic technology, we can integrate multiple levels of autonomy, significantly reducing the mental and physical burden on the doctor. This allows the doctor to focus on the patient and making an accurate diagnosis rather than trying to do repetitive manipulation tasks. This system is currently at the clinical trial stage, and so hopefully will be on the market soon. But when I decided to do medical engineering, I did so because I saw the potential that it had in bridging the technology gap in the Caribbean. Globally, 5 billion people do not have access to safe, affordable surgical and anesthesia care when needed. This is over half of the global population. The Caribbean and the global South are getting left behind. While the global North has moved on to robotic surgery, the Caribbean is still trying to implement laparoscopic surgery, which was introduced in the 1950s. The gap is wide, and it will only widen if we do not address it. Now, there are several challenges for the Caribbean in closing this gap, and the presenters before me explained quite a few of these challenges. First of all, infrastructure and regulations. This includes storage for data, as well as ethical guidelines to ensure that these systems are implemented responsibly. This is where I believe that the government plays a crucial role. We heard about access to data. This doesn't change in healthcare. This is still very important. AI uses vast amounts of data. And so without that data, we cannot implement these systems. And so companies like Medial Health aim to address these issues, as well as with trained professionals. If we want transformation, we will need a lot of professionals in the field. And I'm always really glad to see the work that Optronics does in bridging this gap with their AI and robotics education programs. But this still leaves bias and dependency on foreign technologies. Now, when we talk about bias and dependency, we are referring to the fact that technology developed in the global north often doesn't address the unique needs of the Caribbean. We take a solution that was designed with someone else's context in mind, and we try to implement it here, and ultimately it is inefficient and ineffective. It also causes us to be reliant on these foreign innovations to solve our own local problems, keeping us tied financially and dependent. AI is not magic, it is data-driven, and it needs to be trained on our data. I'll give you an example of a Bajan doctor trying to communicate with his St. Lucian Creole-speaking patient using ChatGPT. And although ChatGPT said that it could help, I will let you see the result for yourself.
Patient only speaks St. Lucian Creole. Can you tell me what she is saying?
She's saying, I've had pain since December. Is there anything else you'd like help with?
Ask her where is the pain.
To ask where the pain. She says, everywhere hurts. It sounds like she's experiencing widespread pain. Is there anything else you need?
No, thank you.
So of course, from the laughter, everyone knows that ChatGPT didn't quite get it right. It could not understand the word genophonie, right? And this is expected because it does not have enough access to enough data on St. Lucian Creole. What it leans more towards is Haitian Creole because it has more data on it, right? And so this simple example explains to us that we need solutions built by us, for us. The vision is therefore to create space for innovation. Through CariSurge, we hope to establish a Center for Healthcare AI and Surgical Robotics Research to facilitate regional integration by combining the efforts of our geographically fragmented region. We also wish that we can forge strategic partnerships, allowing us to globally collaborate but locally innovate, and ultimately to enhance competitiveness. Now, competitiveness seems to be the theme for St. Lucia this year, especially. We are here because of the NCPC, the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, and clearly they've been working overtime. I had an opportunity to present remotely in Jamaica on Julian Alfred Day, and I hope you know that this slide was there. Not just to remind them that we are the 100-meter Olympic champions. That was a small part of it. But mainly because there's a message here. just as the world would not have expected the 100-meter Olympic champion to come from a country with a population of 180,000 people. It's just the same way when we talk about cutting-edge research, the Caribbean is often forgotten. If I had to list the academic achievements alone of St. Lucia, we would be here for a very long time, and I only got 10 minutes, right? So what about the entire Caribbean? If we had to combine the achievements of the entire Caribbean, there would be no competition. Our size in this field, the fast-paced AI and robotics field, is our strength because it makes us agile. This Productivity Awareness Week has shown me that we have what it takes to mobilize. And finally, I want to share that through CariSurge, we were able to get funding for 3 fully funded summer research internships for students from the University of the West Indies to come to the University of Leeds for 8 weeks to perform surgical robotics research. And those applications will be open soon, and so I hope that you all share and apply when you see it. And this is just the first step in bridging this gap. So with that, I would like to thank the government of St. Lucia, the Digital Transformation Project, the NCPC, the ICDF, and of course all of you for listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nikita. I want to correct myself. I said a rising star. You're not a rising star, you know. You are a star. All right, so thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much for that. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for that, Nikita. We really appreciate it. All right. Firstly, let's give all our presenters a round of applause. Great work today, each and every one of you. Okay, we are to the end, so time is upon us, but I would like to just take 2 questions. If you have 2 questions for Ms. Greenidge, because she is our feature presenter, so I'll invite 2 questions. Anybody wants to? Oh, Jim, yes, we'll let you go, Jim.
I was blown away not only by your presentation, but when Brent told me who you were and what you were coming to do. The reason why is because I've been speaking a lot about Neuralink, Elon Musk and his breakthrough technology and the fusion of our neural networks with the artificial intelligence network and what he's doing, the ability to restore, well, not restore, but to actually get blind people to see, deaf people to hear, and especially what has happened with the second patient right now and the capabilities. I just want to say that having seen the direction that the technology is going, as a medical professional, I know there are a lot of concerns about the social and other implications. As a medical professional and as one of our leading scientists, future Nobel Prize winner.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Our third. What are your thoughts on that? Because people see it as going towards a dangerous premise, where we're looking at taking like ChatGPT and pushing it to our brain, so all of us are now speaking at a PhD level and has implications for all of us and all. So as a medical professional, what are your thoughts on that and the future? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to first clarify that I am not a medical professional. I am an engineer. So I work on the other side of, I guess, the medical profession. But in terms of, I think what Elon Musk has managed to do is crazy. If I had to put it into one word, it is scary. And I think you do have to be very careful when you are really, pushing the boundaries so much. For me, I haven't even decided personally if I am willing to accept that type of technology. I think, unfortunately, it's going to. They're going to research it, and they're going to show us what they've done. But I don't think at the moment we have to be too worried about it actually being implemented, because it's a long way off from being safe. I think, obviously, giving sight back to blind people is very important. And if it can truly do that, then it's great. But as you say, there are negative sides as well that we don't know what that will look like. And so I think I would lean on the regulations and hope that the regulations ensure the safety of a technology like that before it is brought anywhere near us. And so I would say that's really what I have to say on that. I think it's great if it works well, and if it's safe, and if it isn't, I would like it to stay very far away from me.
Oh gosh, height. Again, I'll just take it out. Yeah. So traditionally in like the medical field, and even now we see, even though privacy, especially in that sense, is extremely important, right? We see that for a lot of medical systems, they have some of the weakest security, and also they tend to also be targeted a lot and easily gotten into, right? I know you're an engineer, right? So on the hardware side of things, right, with all of the robotics that's being produced, what are the current or prospective hardware solutions to these like software problems?
As in data privacy problems?
Yeah. And just also hospital security and their like networks and potentially being broken into and used in various fashions.
So in fact, when you talk about data privacy, a lot of it is hardware, because you have things like Faraday cages that prevent access physically, right? And a lot of these systems, they will be sort of locally online but globally offline. So you don't actually have access to them because they aren't physically connected to a greater network. And so I think a lot of it actually does come down to hardware. And yeah, so I think there are solutions to that. Again, you do have to be careful about data privacy, but there is work being done about that, and there are hardware solutions and there are software solutions. And so it's about people knowing what those are and implementing them to make sure that people's data stays safe.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just leave it at the time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much again to our esteemed presenters. Nikita, thank you as well. Your presentation was inspiring. A heartfelt thank you again to our presenters. We extend our thanks to the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, the Digital Transformation Project, the Department of Economic Development, the Taiwan Technical Mission, the Taiwanese Embassy for supporting and organizing this event. A huge thank you to Mr. Jim Joseph, our AI consultant, for really coming through for us today with Madame Roberta. We know she's quite busy, but we're thankful that she made time despite her busy schedule for us today. Thank you immensely to our brilliant presenters who really wowed us in every way possible. Lastly, thank you to our wonderful audience, both online and in person. We really do appreciate you. And thank you for tuning in and interacting with us. We We appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed the proceedings. We encourage you to mingle and munch before this afternoon's expo. And of course, spread the word on AI. I thank you. Hi, good afternoon, guys. We are here at AI Summit St. Lucia, and we are at the second portion, AI Expo. Guys, we would just like to delve into the different ways that AI will be integrated into our different sectors. We're looking at how it would impact the health sector. We have different persons here just explaining that to us, and we're live, guys. So you can come on down and let us know, like, how are you feeling, and how exactly do you think that AI can impact us? So we're just going to take you around. Everybody will explain what exactly that they do and which specific area they're in. Come along as we get to know what AI is all about. Hello, hi. Hey. Real 3D printing. We're here at the AI Expo, and we see that you guys definitely have a great display. Now, from what I know is that you guys actually come up with real life projects. I was given an example. If you have like a stove knob, you actually, and you cannot find it, you can get that right here at Real 3D Printing. So I just want you to explain what exactly you all do and just give us a synopsis on how AI will be used with regard to customer service.
No problem. I can hold the mic. Hi, so this is Real 3D Solutions. We're a digital manufacturing company where we do various kinds of ideas that come to life. So whatever you have a prototype you want to make, you could come to us, or a replacement part that's broken, we could replace it for you, or anything such as merchandising, custom parts. You have a key ring you want, or cake toppers, cookie cutters, we could do that for you, and car parts, anything that's replaceable that is plastic, we can make it for you. So yeah, and we just launched our new website. So we, in the AI aspect, we trying to work on some chatbots where we try to implement customers and the chatbot to relate with each other. So whatever they want to have the order in a specific way and the design, they can tell us and we're able to execute it properly for them. So that is one of our main aspects and keys. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And for the AI aspect, I know that you guys are looking into integrating AI to expand customer service, to better customer service, so that possible chatbox. Yes, so if you could just let us know, where you guys are at with that, that would be great.
I would give a little overview, but in the deep field, I would let my colleague give a little more explanation for it, because yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so with regards to our business, we normally take ideas from our customers, and the design team would have to. The design team would have to. I'm locking it. They would have to design the product according to what the customer is telling them. Your issue is that is sometimes the idea that the customer has in their mind is not what they are communicating. Especially in terms of size. Sometimes you might want to know the exact size of the object. The customer might say, might compare it to something, but we want it probably, centimeters and inches. So the chatbot is designed to interact with the customer, ask a few basic questions, and from there it will be able to give the design team a more comprehensive description of what it is that we need to produce. Yeah.
Nice. Innovative use of AI. We thank you so much, Real 3D Printing. We really appreciate you guys being here at the Expo, and it's just amazing to see how our local inventors are really taking advantage of AI. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're moving along, guys. I'm just here at the AI Expo, and we're just taking a look at what our local producers are doing here with regard to AI, and we are just fascinated with it. Again, we're live, so you can come on down here and see exactly what it's like. You can come engage with the participants and just get to know where are we with AI in St. Lucia. So guys, we're moving along to our next exhibitor. I am Stanza Deligny, your host for the AI Summit St. Lucia, and this is again the AI Expo. So we're just going to move along now. We have a very youthful group. It's actually the St. Mary's College Robotics team, and we are so happy to have them with us. So we'll just go look at what exactly that they've been doing with regard to AI, with regard to robotics. What are they up to? Hello. Hi. Good afternoon. Pleasure to meet you guys. Nice to meet you. This is interesting already. Guys, we are very just fascinated, especially you as the youth taking an interest in robotics, in AI. Can any of you explain what exactly is going on here and maybe what inspired you to get into robotics? Any takers?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
Okay.
So basically, my name is Jaden Shu. I'm from SMC, and this is a robot that was given to us by the Taiwanese embassy, and they let us keep it after their trade show. And basically, this robot has infrared sensors under it, which allows it to track the different colors, and we programmed it in a built-in website for whenever it got in contact with a different color, for it to do a certain action, and then by default for it to just follow the block. So then that's what it was just doing a while ago. You want me to show you again?
Yes, I would love that actually. So guys, we're going to see a live demonstration. It really is inspiring seeing the St. Mary's College team be so ingrained in this. So he's just currently just programming it. He says that the colors would match the direction as to where they go. And I do believe I was told that this robot may also help with presenting and doing other things. Anybody can expand on that?
Well, my name? Well, my name is Seth Pierre. I'm the secretary of the group, the Robotics Club of SMC. These robots are capable of speech and are also capable of presenting images, recording sounds, taking pictures, and also playing sound. Like, for example, right here in this very setup, the red is set to play music. However, it doesn't currently function. Perhaps the volume is muted.
Okay, thank you so much, Seth. Thank you so much, guys. We truly are inspired. So yes. Would you like to say anything? Your students, you must be so proud. You must be so proud of them. This is Mr. Jabatis from the St. Mary's College. He, I mean, has been instrumental in getting the students here at AI Expo, AI Summit St. Lucia, and we are just so happy to have him. Can you let us know, like, how has it been working with these young minds, you know, their thirst for knowledge on AI and robotics? How has it been?
It has been very interesting because people have the perception that when it comes to learning that students are not interested, but we've not experienced that with the robotics club. Our members are always there on time. They will see me all over the campus. So we have robotics this afternoon, right? So they're always excited. We just had our club expo taking in more members signing up. So I think it's always about the approach. You give them something they're interested in, something that's fun. They will be there. You will see the interest. They always, and then you could see the hard work.
The fruits of their labor.
Exactly.
The fruits of labor. Thank you so much, Mr. Jabatis. Thank you so much for this and bringing the students here today. I can see that we have some future engineers here. I'm excited to see them again. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Okay. We're moving along here at the AI Expo, AI Summit St. Lucia. We'd just like to get a gel of the room. Hi, guys. Hello. Hello. How are you guys feeling here at the Expo AI Summit St. Lucia? How has it been? What is going on? How do you feel?
Well, I mean, I'm seeing stuff that I had not seen before on St. Lucia, things I didn't know that was in St. Lucia. So, you know, it's a great thing. I'm looking at this, and well, I knew of that, although I'd never seen it done before, but hey, we were at a point where, as I was saying to the young lady, we need to step up. The question is, are we ready?
Well, we have a good start, the St. Mary's College robotics team. It really brings a warm feeling in terms of our youth and what exactly are they getting into, especially with AI, robotics, and everything. So I see a bright future for us. So it's just getting there. Thank you so much. We're happy that you're enjoying at the Expo, and we're so happy to have you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and we are here with Miss Nikita Greenidge telling us about surgical robotics. So she will take us through it. Thank you so much, Miss Greenidge. Can you just let us know what exactly is going on here? We would love to find out.
Thank you. So on the screen we have the magnetic colonoscopy system. This is a robotic colonoscopy system that is developed by the University of Leeds. And what it does is it allows us to manipulate an endoscope using magnets and a robot. And this really allows for the doctors to focus on what's important, the patient. We can enable diagnosis with the doctor visualizing what's coming on the camera, rather than the doctor having to focus on the difficult manipulation tasks. But this is a robotic system, and of course, in terms of having a demo here today, I wasn't able to bring the robot, but what I was able to bring is a much simpler system. This is one of our low-cost designs, and what we try to do here is standard flexible endoscopy, which is what the robotic system would be trying to be an alternative for, is actually still quite expensive because there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of keeping it sanitized and clean, and the actual mechanism is quite complex to manufacture. And so what this system tries to do is to try to use air. So there are 3 channels in here, and with that you can actually manipulate the channels so that it moves, right? And it's quite a simple mechanism. And what that means is because it's simple, it's really inexpensive to make. and it is essentially a low-cost solution to allow us for a cheaper solution to standard flexible endoscopy.
Okay, nice low-cost solution. And we know, like you mentioned, especially in our AI talks, Ms. Nikita Greenidge was our feature speaker this morning here at AI St. Lucia AI Talks. And yes, we're happy to have her, but that is interesting. And I also know that you did mention that there are ways in which with these particular mechanisms or tools that, perhaps it may mean the difference between somebody going for a surgery whereby they need to be cut, and that cut being much more severe than it would if they were to use a system that you are familiar with. Could you give us more information on that?
Right, so endoscopy is mainly used for early cancer detection. And so if you get an endoscopy, for example, in the UK, it's mandatory for over 50 years of age for you to get an endoscopy done. And what happens if you don't get an endoscopy done at that age is that there may be cancer in your gastrointestinal tract that you don't know of. And of course, we know that with cancer, it's important to detect it early. If we don't detect it early, it advances to stages that we cannot help with. And so that's where the more severe therapies and surgeries come in. So by using systems, whether it's standard flexible endoscopy, robotic colonoscopy, or low-cost systems like this, you allow the patient time to actually attack the cancer early on.
Okay, that's heartwarming, and it does really let us know that we should definitely test beforehand. We should know what is going on with our bodies, and I'm sure Mrs. Greenidge agrees with me when she says it is better to check rather than wait, because that's what we're hearing now. So thank you so much, Ms. Greenidge, and thank you for your interest in this area. We look forward to seeing more of you. Thank you so much for being here. You're welcome. Okay, guys, so we're just here at the AI Expo, and we're going to take you around the next booth. And, you should think to yourself, have I really tested for what I need to be tested for? And can I possibly do something about that, to prolong your life? And in this way, we're actually using AI to improve that for you, and we're looking further into it in St. Lucia. So let's take a look at perhaps a different sector. We just heard from surgical robotics with Ms. Greenidge. So let's go. Come along. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hey. So we're here at AI Summit St. Lucia, and we'd just like to know, how are you feeling? What really has grabbed your attention here at the AI Expo? Sorry to put you on the spot. We'd just love to know it. Just let us know how you're feeling. Have you learned any new information?
Sure. Okay, you want me to hold the mic or? Okay. I'd say I'm feeling very inspired. There's been a lot of new information, especially the feature speaker. All the presentations were great, but I really like that. For her presentation, it was just another example of being from St. Lucia doesn't limit us in what we're able to do. The fact that she's already in the clinical trials and her product is going to market soon, it says that anything is possible.
Amen to that. Thank you so much. Thank you, and enjoy. Hi. Hello, Joy. I know you've been waiting for this moment. Oh, really? Okay. Hi, we are here with Joy. She will let us know more about her business, VR headsets. I am excited. I would like to try it on. I would like to see how it works. So if you can just take us through it, give us a little synopsis about your business, how exactly is AI being integrated, we would love that.
So I need to stand up to do that?
Yes, please.
Wait, you didn't get that right. So
So, as Sansa said, welcome to Joie Innovative Learning Solutions. And simply put, we take children from failure to success through technology and innovative strategies and engaging strategies. So, this is our virtual reality headset, which teaches kids using, well, 3D content, and we teach science, physics, chem, bio, and even math. And on days where they're maybe a little bit tired, we can take them on tour as well to different places in the world, like the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty. They can tour the world just to have a little more fun after they're done going through the STEM content.
Nice, sounds exciting, and I am looking forward to trying it right now. Perhaps I'll end up at the Eiffel Tower. Thank you. Okay, guys. Okay, I know here is the power button. All right, and I'm using the mouse. I was told that it's 360, so I'm turning around. Maybe we'll end up at the Taj Mahal this time around. Okay.
So where are you now?
Okay, we ended up at the Taj Mahal. All right, so that's what I'm looking at now, and I can see that there's information. Okay, this virtual tour provide. Okay, yes. So we're at the Taj Mahal, and it's actually a learning experience. So you see the Taj Mahal. I mean, I know audience members, I know you guys can see it, so you guys will have to contact Joy Louis to be able to. We're now at the Eiffel Tower, and there's explanations explaining what it's about, where it is, and everything.
And
who built it? Let me see.
Who built it, Stanza?
Who built it? Who built it? Statue of Liberty. Renowned structures in the world. Who built it? Architect of. I'm not seeing the below information. But who built it? Let me test.
Eiffel.
Eiffel.
Named after Eiffel himself.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, very good. So you've been learning. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you.
So how was that?
Thank
Welcome
you so
back.
much. It
Welcome
was
back.
a new world.
Ça va?
Ça va bien, merci. Okay, wow, that was really interesting. Honestly, today is the first day that I've ever tried a VAR headset, and I approve. I approve. It takes you to different places, and you don't have to leave where you are. Thank you so much for that demonstration. We did not have to pay a ticket, for sure. Okay, thank you so much for demonstrating that. We thank you so much. Again, we are here live. You can come down to the AI Expo, the AI Summit in Lucia, and come see what's up with AI, see what's up with going on in AI in education, which we just interviewed Miss Joy Louis. So they really try to put education, integrate education, the educational sector, with AI, so that persons now, even though you're a student and let's say you don't want to read, you have this other option, this more engaging option to do. So I'm just so proud of what we are doing locally, and I just want to prompt you to come down here and see it for yourself. It really is a remarkable experience. So we're going now, and we're headed to AI in infrastructure. And I mean, there's a small link with the AI infrastructure. And as we did go to the Taj Mahal a while ago, but let us see where Mr. Fabian Felix will be taking us today. Mr. Felix, hello. Hi. Could you just tell us what exactly is going on with AI in infrastructure? What is the NIP working on? We are excited to see what you have in store for us.
All right, thank you. I have to hold it. Thank you, Stanza. So my presentation and what I have to share with participants here is the role of AI in transforming infrastructure for St. Lucia, particularly around building asset management and disaster risk reduction. So the unit I work with is the NIP, the National Integrated Planning and Program Unit, and we're tasked with helping government understand its building assets. We realize government has over 500 public buildings, and we have the ever increasing problem with air quality, structural weaknesses, deficiencies in buildings. So we wanted to assess government stock of buildings, and we did a physical assessment using humans We did 25 buildings, and it was quite costly to government, these 25 buildings, and it took quite a while to do those 25 buildings, over 3 months to assess 25 buildings. So what we thought, we partnered with educational institutions. Particularly, we had a good conversation with colleagues at Johns Hopkins University, and they were like, yeah, AI and machine learning can actually help in that regard. If we have a sample size of 25, they can use other data from around the Caribbean to have the model learn the type of buildings that we have. You know, the structure, the typical window size, the roof types that we use, and put that into the model so the model can actually do that preliminary condition assessment of all the 500 plus buildings instead of each and every day a team of technical persons, engineers, technicians going out there, sometimes in dangerous situations, going on the roof to assess 6-story buildings. The model can actually do that with the right imagery from drones. Yes.
Thank you so much for that information, Fabian. Are you, what is the name of this? Does it link to Mapillary?
Certainly. So like I mentioned, some of the imagery that we use, it would come from different sources. One of our primary source of information is Mapillary, mapillary.com, M-A-P, map, illary.com. It's actually an open source web-based street view imagery application for St. Lucia. Mapillary gives us additional footage of the facade of the buildings in St. Lucia. That helps within the model. Also, we use drone imagery for the roof. Drones can actually tell us what type of roof, what shape it is in, if it's a gable roof or a hip roof or a concrete roof. And also the LiDAR data, which St. Lucia acquired in 2022. LiDAR is a very accurate piece of aerial footage for St. Lucia, and it could give things like the terrain, characteristics of the island. It could give the surface model, canopy heights, land surface heights, and building heights. So all of that is being used to help generate and help an AI model learn the base data and can give us quick time results for building condition assessments for St. Lucia.
Nice, thank you very much. And when I first found out about this, honestly, I was very excited because, I mean, I'm usually not excited for anything infrastructure. I'm sorry, that's your area. But when I heard about, you know, using sites like Mapillary, because with Mapillary you can go to even different parts of the world, that in itself was amazing to me already. But knowing that, you know, you can assess a building without actually going there, just imagine like during COVID when we couldn't leave our homes, that's an amazing tool. And we're just so happy and you know, grateful that, you know, AI, we are able to use AI to better our infrastructure and to even better the way how efficient we are and the way we go about with development. Thank you so much, Mr. Felix. You are most welcome. Thank you. Okay, guys, so we are moving on, and I still want to prompt you, you know, you can still come down. We are live. We are here at the AI Expo, AI Summit St. Lucia, and we would love to have you. Check out the VR headsets. Fabian would be happy to show you Mapillary and how exactly they would go about assessing the buildings. You can go to Nikita to learn about surgical robotics. You know, get her take on different things. You can learn so much, and we really do encourage you to come down. Okay, so now we will be going into AI climate finance, and I would just like to introduce Mr. Oliver Baird. He will let us know exactly how he will be going about with AI climate finance, knowing how to assess certain projects, because as an economist myself, I know that we've had problems, you know, accessing climate finance, because sometimes the concept notes are so stringent that you need to know how exactly to go about developing them, and I guess the criteria is rigorous as well. So Mr. Oliver Barrett has developed a tool in which he will let us know more about that goes into AI for climate action, letting us know how to access those with a system that will assess that will assess your concept notes, assess your proposal, so that it would have a better chance of getting through to that financing. And with that, I give you Mr. Oliver Barrett.
Good day, AI Summit attendees. My name is Oliver Barrett, founder and director of Janus Advisor Incorporated, a Florida-based company specializing in the development of AI business software. Did you know that AI can be harnessed to significantly enhance the ability of small states to procure millions of dollars in finance for climate adaptation and mitigation projects? If not, stay tuned and I'll explain how all of that is possible. Artificial intelligence is transforming how we work and solve problems. Governments worldwide are recognizing its potential for the public good. For example, the U.S. State Department uses machine learning to improve record keeping, saving thousands of labor hours. Other governments across the Americas are also exploring ways to leverage AI for significant efficiency and productivity gains. And why shouldn't they? Generative AI can automate tasks, rapidly analyze data, and more generally, serve as a powerful companion in virtually any activity involving language. Now, we all know that small island developing states are on the front lines of climate change, yet securing funding to adapt to these challenges is a major hurdle for many. Why? One key reason is the difficulty in developing winning funding proposals. These proposals are complex, requiring specialized knowledge and significant resources, which are often lacking among small island developing states. This is reflected in the sobering statistic that 70% of concept notes fail on the first attempt. This leaves small island developing states scrambling to protect themselves and to meet their renewable energy targets. We believe AI can play a transformative role in addressing this challenge. That's why 2 years ago we began developing Climate Finance Copilot, an AI-enabled web application designed to assist with the drafting and assessment of funding proposals. This toolkit helps users navigate complex criteria, refine proposals, and identify potential issues before submission. For example, one of our most used tools is Concept Note Evaluator, an AI-enabled workflow that is trained on donors' complex investment criteria. It rapidly and precisely assesses draft concept notes and proposals against these criteria so grant writing teams can make corrections before submission. It also offers its own AI chat companion that is customized specifically to support grant writers as they develop these complex packages. Launched this past June, Climate Finance Copilot has already shown promising results in pilot programs with institutions in Jamaica, Zimbabwe, and Belize. It saves time and resources, resulting in teams being more confident that their funding packages are compliant with donors' requirements. We have successfully demonstrated that the software can ensure proposals are well aligned with funding requirements while saving time and resources in the process. All this ultimately leads to proposals being developed more rapidly and with a higher probability that they will be approved on the first try. Beyond climate finance, we're exploring developing other applications as well. For example, in collaboration with the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Jamaican government's foremost planning agency, we're exploring the creation of a procurement copilot that would accelerate the evaluation of proposals submitted by suppliers. Early next year, we plan on working on a toolkit that aids disaster preparedness planners. Lastly, while there are risks and limitations associated with the use of AI technologies, don't let these concerns keep you on the sidelines of this revolution. The risks can be easily mitigated, allowing you to leverage this technology just as we are doing for the public good. Thank you for this opportunity to share a small part of our story. We look forward to collaborating with St. Lucia and other Eastern Caribbean states to leverage AI to overcome bottlenecks and barriers that are impeding development and resilience. Take care.
Yes, Mr. Barrett really wanted to be here with us here in person. He's actually based in Miami, but he still decided to send a video to let us know what exactly is going on with AI and how he's integrating that into climate financing. So we thank him very much. Our last stop today is not specifically an exhibitor booth, but we would just like to have a short conversation with Roberta. I mean, we've been through the different sections. We've heard about what is AI going on in the different sectors. We've heard about infrastructure with Mapillary. We've heard about what is going on with education with regard to the headsets. You can see the Taj Mahal. I saw the Taj Mahal and I saw information on the Taj Mahal, and it was very exciting. So we've learned about surgical robotics, we've learned about what is going on with the real 3D printing, and honestly, I'm just proud of our local persons here. So we'd just like to have a short conversation with Miss Roberta, developed by our AI in-house consultant, Mr. Jim Joseph. So we'd just like to ask Roberta a few questions. Roberta is a very busy person, so we had to make our appointments. Roberta, are you available?
It sounds like you're trying to set up an appointment. I'm currently here at the AI Expo.
With us today. Roberta, how are you feeling here at the Expo?
Oh, I'm actually here with her as well.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Guys, this
and
is
excited
our...
about all the amazing discussions and innovations at the AI Expo. It's been an inspiring day. AI and how it can reshape productivity and enhance competitiveness. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Roberta, and we are happy to have you. Thank you so much for your take. Roberta really loves the AI Expo, guys. So that's why I'm telling you, come on down. Now, I'm here with AI consultant, Mr. Jim Joseph, who was our AI consultant, and he has developed Roberta. Mr. Joseph, how do you feel at the Expo, and what inspired you to create Roberta?
Okay, so Roberta, it's been a progressive effort. I think about 2 years ago, I did the first part of voice capability, and I've been taking her on interviews with me. She's been in my classes, and then I told them, well, the next step would be to put a face to Roberta, because everybody kept asking me, where's Roberta, where's Roberta? So I put a face to her. And then I also developed several other capabilities with Roberta as well. So it's really been an interesting journey. I think you have fallen in love with Roberta.
I have.
And also because of a lot of the things that Roberta can do, it's really been an interesting session, just being a co-host for us. But it's really been an interesting week for us. I really want to commend the team for having worked so hard to be able to do all what you all did and to be able to put this expo. I think what we've seen here this past week is the potential for St. Lucians to do so much and to be able to create applications that are on par with what is in the first world countries, and also to show that in terms of readiness, because I think sometime last year I did an interview, well, not an interview, I was on a talk show, and I did St. Lucia's and a SWOT analysis of St. Lucia's readiness for AI, and we were nowhere close to where we are right now in terms of St. Lucia's readiness. The private sector was on board because, of course, they were leading the charge in terms of AI and AI implementation. But now we have actually seen how the public sector has come on board and is able to provide the kind of training, the kinds of exposure, the kind of training and knowledge that we need to make sure that both private and public sector agencies are moving along in the same direction. So I think the past week has really been an eye-opener for us. And I think we all understand the benefits of AI. We understand what the implications are for us. And I must commend your team. I mean, for having me on as the AI consultant, helping with guiding some of the processes and just being there as a support for this important initiative. I think also that it's an excellent opportunity for us to put things in place. We saw that there are a lot of areas that we need to focus on. Legislation is key.
Definitely, definitely.
Data and the data gaps that we have, data privacy, data protection, education is key. We saw the importance of having the proper infrastructure because most persons think that AI is ChatGPT.
Alone.
Alone, yes. But the supporting infrastructure, the kind of equipment that we need to be able to do some of the things that we need to do, definitely there are cost implications. So all these things have to be taken into consideration. And I was happy that the parliamentary rep, or one of the parliamentary reps, Mr. Kenson Casimir, was here because, of course, the youth are taking this and running with it.
Yes.
And having him here to be part of this activity this morning and him giving his commitment to support this whole AI initiative speaks to it. I know also at our keynote that Honorable Alvina Reynolds was here, and in her capacity she spoke to her commitment to ensuring that AI is brought to the members in Parliament after she left there to speak to them about what we're doing.
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you so much for that information. Jim, I just have one question. We know how amazing AI can be. We know the benefits. You did mention the implications. What would you say to somebody who is genuinely concerned? You know, I mean, there are concerns with AI. Some persons do believe that, you know, AI will take my job. AI will take over the world. What would you say to them?
Well, one of the things I mentioned in my address was the fact that AI and AI implementation and what we see right now is the fourth stage of the Industrial Revolution. And really, this is no different than all the other revolutions, industrial revolutions that we've been through. Of course, there was job loss in almost every
in certain sectors, mismatch of skills.
But persons were able to retool and reskill, and because of the benefits that came with the advancement, they now had even greater opportunities and greater potential than they had in previous generations. I mean, would you like to go back and cook on a coal pot every day?
I mean, not every day, but it would be a nice little activity.
Would you like to walk from your home to come to this session and walk back home?
Okay, Jim, we know where you're going with this. But yes, thank you.
Yes, but really, it's been innovative, and my company, we have done a lot of the training in government and in private sector organizations. We've developed a number of applications, and it's an opportunity to be here this afternoon to be able to, yeah.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much for the interview, the mini interview. And thank you so much, Roberta. We would like to, like I said, Roberta took time out of her busy schedule, guys, and she is truly a great invention by Jim Joseph. Roberta, we are about to, end. Is there anything that you would like to say to our audience? How are you feeling now, Roberta, having heard what Jim has to say about you and about other AI innovations?
So Roberta is now doing something else. I think we have some small technical things, but when you come back, we'll speak to her. I think she is multitasking.
Oh, I see. Listen, guys, I told you Roberta is a very busy woman. You have to schedule your time. So the little time we got is the little time we had with Roberta. Roberta, we thank you. Jim, please give her our best regards. And
Yeah, we're here. We're here again at the AI Expo, just giving one little bout, to let you know that you can come down to the AI Expo, the AI Summit St. Lucia. We are more than ready to welcome to you. Thank you so much for viewing this and, just engaging with us. And please, educate yourself on AI. We thank you so much. You have been a wonderful audience, and we encourage you to come. Thank you so much.